Coffee's bitter, like the names on the screen. Faces flicker, but they never come clean. Every headline feels like one more scam. Whole damn system built on sleight of hand. We've been patient, boiling over, tired eyes, late nights, fighting sober. Every story points the same way. Every road sign says somebody pays. True Crime Cafe, we're seeking truth. Dagos want answers, we're coming for you. Crooked as hell and you laugh in our face. Darkness covered crimes, we light up this place. All we want is justice, that's the only ask. Dago in the cafe built for this task. Let's get to it. Shut it down fast. Shut it down fast. Backroom whispers, paper trails gone cold. Kids grow older, carrying what they're told. Questions piling like cups in the sink. Every dirty deed closer than you think. Dishonest and backwards, twist every word, but we've got the screenshots we've already heard. You can bury the proof, but you can't hide the past. We're knocking on doors, coming in late. Dagos want answers, we're coming for you. Crooked as hell and you laugh in our face. Darkness covered crimes, we light up this place. All we want is justice, that's the only ask. Dago in the cafe built for this task. Let's get to it. Coffee's bitter, like the names on the screen. Faces flicker, but they never come clean. Every headline feels like one more scam. Whole damn system built on sleight of hand. We've been patient, boiling over, tired eyes, late nights, fighting sober. Every story points the same way. Every road sign says somebody pays. True Crime Cafe, we're seeking truth. Dagos want answers, we're coming for you. Crooked as hell and you laugh in our face. Darkness covered crimes, we light up this place. All we want is justice, that's the only ask. Dago in the cafe built for this task. Let's get to it. Shut it down fast. Shut it down fast. paper trails gone cold, kids grow older.
Yeah, roll call, listen. They go to sauce bars, clock on the wall, still ticking, blue crew posted in the bag, a whole room, listen. True crime cafe, coffee, black eyes, red files on the table, cold cases, cold dread, seeking the truth. Ink stains on his hand, pics on the cardboard, string lines, map land, busting these cases, long nights, tight grind. Everything will be fine. He repeat that line, blue crew backs him, keep him on track, one step from the edge, they pulling them back. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking the truth, pay the real cost, gotta find answers, gotta make time, busting these cases, walking that line. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, hoping he can answer just a few go. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, say it with your chest, this the true talk. Solving the bullshit, lies in the booth, paper plates, cheap meals, chasing down proof, praying real quiet, hands on his face, fighting for the next meal. In another cold case, street talk, tip line, voices on mute, he dig through the dirt, searching for a root, true justice, distant, like it changed that dress, but he still take notes, never half step. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking the truth, pay the real cost, gotta find answers, gotta make time, busting these cases, walking that line. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking he can answer just a few talk. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, say it with your chest, it's the truth talk. True talk.
What's up, this all fucking crazy out there, right?
A true crime cafe, they go to softballs, cold brew, cold case, chalk lines on the gloss. Seeking the truth, finding the time, files on the counter, grind with the grind. Blue crew backs him, keeps him in line, sirens in his pocket, eyes on the sign. Got a wall full of faces, string tied tight, every red pen circle, another long night. True crime cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. Off in the bullshit, praying low real. Knuckles on the table, fighting for the next meal. True justice far out of view. Smoke in the doorway, what else can he do? Hoping he can answer just a few names in a notebook, voices breaking through. True crime cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. Yeah. Oh, hiding up. Yeah. Police sirens screaming, chaos in the wind. Drop D grinding, the bass kicks in. Miley Drake's playlist, sassy, classy charm. Moonlit vibes, tomboy tough, alarms in my arm. Seahawks rapping, tomboy flex. Cat K laughing, got Randy perplexed. Rags with the Zelda game, Lucy Morning Star bright. Busy popping wisdom, brandy in the fight. Moderating the mess, keeping it clean. Kick control ass, eliminating the scene. Chrissy Chaos, Alicia J. Sheen. Keep it real, keep it raw, never routine. Never routine. Never routine. Never real, keep it raw, never routine. Typically unique like a fingerprint twist. SRB, shadow lurking in the mist. Meg P's anthem blasting through the static. Zelda sword swinging, keep it cinematic. Randy Burn shadows, voices howl. Trash talkers silence, their echoes gone. This is our anthem, heavy like dawn. Never routine. Yeah. I'm on my money, won't. I'm on my money, won't. Last 24, it's a war. Molly Cat keeping score. SRB in the thread. Sassy Cassie at the door. Moonlit visions. Typically unique collisions. Seahawks fans spitting wisdom. Tomboy charm in the system. Moderating the scene. Keep it clean, keep it mean. Kick control last. Eliminating trash. Keeping it real. Pushing the truth fast. Moderating the scene. The digital combat. Cat K clicks, bands quick, right on the flick of the wrist. Sail the slaves with the sword, Randy Fur won't miss. Meg P's got the squad, Lucy Morningstar raw. Fizzy popping off, Brandy B breaking law.
Christie's chaos in the wind, Alicia J begins again. Messy threads meet the end, when the truth bends they descend.
Moderating the scene, keep it clean, keep it mean. Kick control last, eliminating trash. Keeping it real, pushing the truth fast. Moderating the scene, the digital combat. Sirens wail, chaos trails, but we stand tall, no fail. Every troll's derail, hit delete, send it to jail. Keyboard warriors with the baseline roar. Drop the guitar, scream, leave the haters floored.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the cafe. We are open for business. It is Saturday, 10th of January already. Moving right along, guys. Today we're jumping over to Ohio here, right in my own backyard, and looking into Spencer and Monique. I think it's pronounced Tepes. They're a dentist out of Columbus, Ohio. That very sadly, him and his wife were found deceased in their home with small children in the house, found crying there as well with them. This case is a little bit wacky, a little wild. I wanted to get into this a little sooner, but everything else going on in Idaho and stuff has kind of kept it back. But we are moving into it today for sure. That being said, guys, please make sure to hit the like button when you come through the door. Share this out. Let everybody know what we're talking about today, please, and thank you. I really love to hear your guys' thoughts and feelings on this for real. Very sad situation here, but it definitely needs to be put out to the public. So, guys, again, thank you for joining us today. Again, hit the like button, share it out. And that being said, you guys know what comes next. Let's do this thing, everybody.
Flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face at the True Crime Cafe. We serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth. reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hunt the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betray. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the brave. At the True Crime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the True Crime Cafe.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. It is a great to see you all here joining us today at the cafe, guys. We're open for business. Make sure you grab a big old cup of whatever you want it to be. Jump on in here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all, whoever you are, wherever you are. Hope it's good for you because it's great to be here with you guys. So thank you again for joining us. Again, guys, we are jumping into right somewhere in my own backyard, guys, here in Columbus, Ohio. Um, Spencer Monique Tepes. I swear I'm saying the last name wrong, but I hope that's right. Tepes or Tepe, however you say it. He's a dentist out of Columbus, Ohio. Here was found murdered in his home. When they found him, they found children alive and crying in the home as well. Thank the Lord they're okay. And so at that point, a pretty sad and weird situation. There was no sign of forced entry or any of that kind of stuff. So hold on one moment. Sorry, everyone. I was having a technical issue. But there is a pretty weird, wild situation going on with this case. Hold on a minute. Checking Discord here. What did I miss? I saw what you sent me, Meg. If that's what you were referring to, thank you very much for that. 1 minute here. Did I miss something else? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. 1 minute here. Let me see. If that's what you're referring to, Meg, I did get that, and thank you very much. Never mind that. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable. Looks like we got, speaking of, Meg, the mega stars in the house. Linda Vaughn, welcome back to you. Juror 13, thank you for joining us today. As always, a pleasure. Robert's in the house with a True Crime Unleashed. Great to see you. Michelle F., welcome. Hammy's in the house. Great to see you, brother. Colleen Kerr, welcome, welcome. Um, Boston supports Lana. Good to see you, Boston. Wonderful to have you in the house. Jilly Bean, welcome to you. Na 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 na. Let's see. Mama for coffee. I'm all for coffee. Hey, yay. Um, Wonders Deep, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. CZ's in the house. Always happy to have you here. Siggy, welcome back to you. By the way, guys, I think this is one of two. I think I'm gonna when I shut this down, I'll be rolling right back into another one today. Where we're gonna finish up with the stuff in Idaho, the new documents that dropped there. So if you're interested, please make sure you tune right back in because I will just do the back to back deal and I'll be over there with Lee tonight, hopefully. Um, Jules Zamora, great to see you today. Thank you for joining us. I think I got everybody so far. It's like we got 34 peeps in the house. 30 likes, guys. Let's make sure those match and try to get this in that algorithm. Coffee's gross. You're crazy, Meg. Scottish Cat Lady, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Josie West in the house. Great to see you, Josie. The wild case for sure, you guys. Let's see. Welcome, welcome. While we're waiting, guys, if you are comfortable with it, guys, do me a quick favor and throw in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. I always love seeing that. See how many Ohioans we have in here with us today. Listen to this case here right in our own backyard. Right turn, Clyde. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. And of course, if you're not comfortable with putting where you're tuning in from, you don't have to. That's understood. I just love seeing where you guys are all coming from. Clyde's coming out of Western Kentucky. Colleen from good old Cleveland, up there where Miss Lucy's from. Busy's in Toledo, holy Toledo. We got two Ohioans. Miss Cloudy Outcome out of Chicago, Windy City. Miss Wendy's coming from upstate New York, not too far off. Scottish Cat Lady's coming out of Scotland. That's awesome. Wonders Deep, roll tide, a Bama girl there. And Juror 13 is another Bama. Bama. We got family in Bama. We love Bama here. Wichita, Kansas in the house for Richard. Or I'm sorry, Robert from True Crime Unleashed. B is Rebecca. Good to see you today, Becca. Miss Josie's tuning in from the Wisconsin Northwoods. That's awesome. Not far from Minneapolis. Been wild there. I bet it has. Pennywise out of Idaho. Jules Zamora, Minnesota. Yay. Wait. Yeah. Wonderful to have you guys here. Truly, honestly. That's right, Wonders. Roll Tide Roll. We'll get him next year. We need to get Mr. Saban back. Jilly's in the northwest suburb of Chicago. If Bama only had a Major League Baseball. Deborah Ackland, great to see you. Coming out of Ontario, Canada. Gotta love it. Thank you for joining us, Deborah. Always a pleasure. Make sure I'm not missing anybody up here. Looks like I'm good. Guys, there is a link pinned to the top of the chat. Should anybody choose or want to join me, you're more than welcome to. Miss Linda Vaughn out of Texas, where everything is not bigger, is nit bigger. We got some Texans in the house for sure. Thank you, Grace Kirk. Great to see you. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate that very much. Looks like I have a few of my mods here. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate you very much, Megan Fizzy. I think that's all I see so far. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy weekend, your busy day, to jump on in here and help out and do all the amazing things you guys do to keep me going. It is so very much appreciated. I'm scared of anyone from Idaho. I'm sure it's not that bad, Hemi. Jody's in the house. Good to see you today. Oh, wait a minute. This thing's killing me. I'm going to move this thing around. 45 peeps, 36 likes. We're catching up. We are catching up for sure. Juror 13 says, I've lived in Illinois, Georgia too, and I would live in Scotland if I could. I think I would too. I agree with that one. Why does it seem like it should be over here? Nope. That's the problem. It's not giving me the right angle. I don't like that. Sorry for all the camera stuff, guys. I'm just trying to get it right. Once this gets moved, it's going to get moved, and it's going to be definitely so much better. Yes, in this case, the ex-husband, Monique's ex-husband, has been detained. I was going to get there after I told you the story. But the cat's out of the bag. No, I don't like that either. Damn it, Jim. Come on now. Just saying's in the house. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Juror. I appreciate you all very much for being here. Jim, that's just somebody I yell at when I talk. See, that's not working either for me. I don't like it. This is where I usually have it. You know a Joe? I know a Joe too, Megastar. Holy hell in a handbag. It's Saturday morning and afternoon and we got SRB with us. Holy shnikes. I think it's because of the case we're covering. Good to see you, SRB. Thank you for joining us today. DA stepped on my toes a little with it. I'm sure I didn't mean to, honestly. Thank you again, guys, by the way, for you guys joining us last night over at Devil's Advocate with the panel. Again, loved having you guys there. Yes, I'm very OCD, Linda. Truly, I really am. And it's showing right now because I cannot get my camera angle the way I want it. I've moved. This is getting moved very soon. We've already got it set up. It's probably happening tomorrow. I know I've been talking about it for a year. I'm tired of certain things, so it will be getting done. No warrant out of Franklin, says wanted for two. Yeah. B for Becca. Starting off the goal. Thank you so much, Becca. Appreciate that very much. No, I think he's been arrested. I'll from my understanding. We'll get into. Thank you again, Becca. God bless. Very, very much appreciated. Very sweet of you too. Thank you. Very funny. Come on in, everybody. 47 peeps in the house, 39 likes. We're getting there. I didn't figure we would get that many people. It's sad, but there's some people that aren't here just for true crime. They're here for just specific cases, which I've seen happen. And it's understood to some extent. I get it, but I have to cover some of these other cases too. So, especially something so close to home for me. I'm about 2.5 hours, almost 3 from Columbus. Not super far, but not super close either. That I know, SRB. That's exactly how I see it too, Robert. Definitely murder, in my opinion. Yes, welcome, Hemi. Thanks for joining me, bud. Hope you're doing
How
well
you
today.
doing today? I'm doing good, Dagon. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Welcome, Panama Mom. Good to see you. And Miss Krista's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Miss Krista. I gotta send them songs over to you. I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah,
And I think I'm 3 hours from this area, guys. I haven't been there in a while, but have you heard of this case, Hemi, at all?
no, I haven't. This will be my first time hearing
It's
about it.
interesting as hell. It's a dentist and his wife that were found dead in their home in Columbus. Um, there was no forced entry or anything like that.
It was, somebody mentioned, I think it was Meg, said
Hmm.
something about the step husband
Well, he's been
or the
arrested,
ex
I believe,
husband.
for taken into custody for questioning. So there's Krista. You know what, Krista? Here, listen to this real quick and tell me if you want these before I send them. I just want to make sure you do, or at least one of. I'll have you listen to one of them real fast. If you want it, I'll send them both over to you. Put it together the best I could for what I believe would work for you. Um,
It's
hold on a
it's
minute.
kind of it's very unfortunate nowadays. Uh, Before my mother passed away, she was working. She was working at Blazer. It's a construction company,
Uh
and
huh.
anyway, she met a guy there, and they started dating or whatever.
Uh
And
huh.
then he invited her over one night to and have some have a dinner or whatever. And his ex-wife showed up, and she pulled out a gun and started to shoot my mother. He stepped in the middle of it, thank God, and broke it all up. But that came to my mind whenever I heard what Meg said, and that's
Welcome, Christine Wadebird. Yes, I understand completely
that's
how
that's
that would.
yeah, that's disturbing. That's to say the least. If that's the case, now I ain't trying to say it is, but
Yeah,
that's
Lana
what it
lives.
reminded me of.
Sure, Lana lives right outside of Columbus, and she's really close to this. So yes, um, I'm probably not going to be as good as coverage wise as Lana because I'm not that close. But well, I don't know. But real quick here, let me play this for Krista. See if she wants me to send this to her. Plus, you guys can critique it as well. If you like this, Krista, I'll send it. Or Krista, I'll send it over real quick. It's just a song for one of your intros. I told you a long time ago. I promised you I'd help you out with it, and it took. I'm sorry it took so long, but we were waiting for everybody else to pop in here. Just take a minute, I think. So 1 second.
clicking. Lean in. Camera on edge of the seat, she be pouring that pot. Turning the heat, name in her mouth, better come clean. She the real one, cut through the screen. No cap, all fat, yeah, she talk mean. But it's sting cause it's true, she a truth machine. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey, tune in for the truth, it's that Queen TV. Talking that shit, making it known. If it's going this way, that way she put you on. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey, every single drop got you feeling that beat. You better listen hard, don't miss a thing. She the prime time goddess, bow to the king. She don't chase clout, she chase receipts. Scroll through the files, bring them to the street. Bravo to the boss when she break that scene. Got the group chat buzzing off a single stream. Real time gossip, live in your phone. You feel seen cause she's saying what you think alone. True and keen, cut deep when she speak. You hit play one time, now you back all week. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey, tune in for the truth, it's that Queen TV. Talking that shit, making it known. If it's going this way, that way she put you on. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey, every single drop got you feeling that beat. You better listen hard, don't miss a thing. She the prime time goddess, bow to the king.
All right, Krista, that's the first one I came up with, but I wanted to give you choices, because I don't know what you like or you don't like. By the way, Krista, she does reality with Krista Marie. She covers all the Bravo stuff over there. I'll give them both to you. And like I said, don't feel bad if you don't like them. It's fine. This is the second one, real quick. You could use one for intro, one for outro, or just choose whatever you want. Hey, FB, the cook, good to see you, my friend.
Prime time goddess. Clicking. Log all in. Yeah. Got it. Log on goddess. Camera on, edge of the seat. She be pouring that pot, turning up heat. Name in her mouth, better come clean. She the real one, cut through the screen. No cap, all fat. Yeah, she talk mean, but it sting cause it's true. She a truth machine. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey, tune in for the truth, it's that Queen TV. Talking that shit, making it known. If it's going this way, that way she put you on. Reality with Crystal Marie. Every single drop got you feeling that beat. You better listen hard, don't miss a thing. She the prime time goddess. Bow to the king, bow to the king. She don't chase clout, she chase receipts. Scroll through the files, bring them to the street. Bravo to the boss. When she break the scene, got the group chat buzzing off a single stream. Real time gossip, live in your phone. You feel seen cause she saying what you think alone. True and keen, cut deep. When she speak, you hit play one time, now you back all week. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey. Reality with Crystal Marie. Hey. Tune in for the truth, it's that Queen TV. Talking that shit, making it known. If it's going this way, that way she put you on. Reality with Crystal Marie. Reality with Crystal Marie. Bow to the king, bow to the king.
There you go, Krista. They're both kind of the same, but I'll send them both over. You pick which one you want. I hope you like them, and if not, you can trash them either way. And you can set them up if you want or not. Like I said, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I just put together what best I could for what I feel about you and what I see you do, and so on and so forth. So, if you do like them, or if so, I do hope you like them. If not, I'll try to do something different for you. If you don't care for them, just let me know. And thank you guys for listening through that as well. All right, guys, let's get moving on this. Oh, everybody left, huh? Okay, well, so be it. Let's see what we got going on now. Again, we're heading into Columbus, Ohio, in regards to a dentist and his wife that was found deceased. All right. Give me 1 minute here. But now my mom. Good to see ya. The husband or the wife, Monique's, the wife of Spencer, her ex-husband was taken into custody, from my understanding, to be questioned in regards to the murders. Which is wild because, from my understanding, he was in Chicago, but that doesn't mean anything, I guess you could say. Let's see what we got here. So first, start off with. All right, guys, let's start here. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate that. If you guys, you're critiquing, guys, I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. Hey, Pennywise, good to see you. Let's start here for those of you that might not know about it. I know most everybody does, but I know I'm late. I don't jump to the gun to run to be the first to cover a story, unfortunately. But I do like to put things out when I can. This one is important to me because it is local for us, kind of. So anyway, let's check this out real quick.
That we are following at this hour here, and this is getting nationwide attention as there are a lot of questions here. Police in Columbus, Ohio, investigating the murders of a dentist and his wife who were found shot to death inside of their home earlier this week with their crying children still inside. Investigators say Dr. Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique, both in their late 30s, were found dead Tuesday morning inside of their home there in Wineland Park. With no suspect or motive, police say this does appear to be a double homicide, not a murder-suicide, as no weapon was found inside the home. However, there were also no signs of any forced entry. You can see the photo of the couple right there on your screen. It's followed by some of the video of the scene itself, which is very active and has been here for days as police work that investigation. Now, officers had responded to the couple's home for a welfare check requested after the doctor failed to show up for work at Athens Dental Depot, where he was a dentist. Local stations there in Columbus say the owner of the dental office had called 911 and explained that he was always on time and would have contacted them, but had not been in touch. Now, the owner explained, quote, "This is very out of character for him." A friend of the couple reportedly drove by the home and called police because they could hear children crying inside the home, but no one was answering the door when they kept on knocking. Police say a caller noted actually seeing Spencer's body inside. Public documents revealing Spencer was shot several times while his wife suffered at least one gunshot wound to the chest. Police then confirming there were two children inside of the home. Now, again, no suspect has been identified at this point, no weapon found, and this is considered to be very active, so Columbus police are urging anyone with any information to give them a call. We'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox.
Very sad situation. Thank God that the children were okay, but it's just still very sad. But they have, both their parents are gone at this point. Very, very sad. So let's see here what we got. Moving forward. Give me a second, you guys.
No, I'm sure they're interviewing the kids as well.
Yeah, they're really little, so what I don't know exactly what they can help with. They may be able to.
Well, a child can tell you details. I mean,
Yeah. Right. So we're gonna run with this next piece here. This is from 18 hours ago. Fairly new. This will give some updated versions of certain things. Let's check it out. I'm also going to do this because certain things upset certain people in certain ways.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers. This video is for 18 plus only. Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
All right, let's check it out.
This is newly released body cam video we just received from the city of Columbus showing the first police officer to respond to a call related to the case of Spencer and Monique Tepe. But the officer in this video went to the wrong address, according to the chief of police. Police in Ohio are finally speaking to the public about the investigation.
Yeah, that's true. We found that out last night too, that the responding officer from the Wilford that first they went to the wrong house, guys. I mean, how embarrassing. Come on. It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's check this out first. This dude just walking around whistling like there's nothing going on.
Investigation into the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe. What the Columbus police chief is now saying about where they are in the investigation.
Okay. Got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Also, the chief giving somewhat of a shocking update with a key detail from the police response after multiple frantic 911 calls were made from friends and concerned coworkers of the Tepes, people who knew that something wasn't right. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. All right, let's get to the latest on this case that we've been following closely out of Ohio, the murders of Spencer Tepe and his wife, Monique Tepe. Now, when it comes to how much information police give out to the public during an investigation like this, especially an investigation as public as this one is making national news. You really can only speculate with what the PR strategy is for police, why they're giving out certain pieces of information, why they aren't answering certain questions from journalists. Of course, the biggest question is how close are they to catching a killer? It appears at this point only those on the inside, the people in the department, know the answer to that question. Now, this is the new body cam video that the city of Columbus just sent to us here at Law and Crime, and it shows the officer who was dispatched to make a welfare check at Spencer Tepe's home after he didn't show up for work at his dental office. And that officer, he did check out the property. He knocks on the door, didn't see anything left. The only issue is, according to the chief of police, he went to the wrong address. This was at roughly 9:30 in the morning, about 20 to 30 minutes after the first phone call was made by Spencer Tepe's boss, saying that something just didn't feel right because he didn't show up for work. It would be roughly another half hour until a 911 caller then discovers what he says is Spencer Tepe's body in the home of the couple on December 30th. More than a week into trying to find the person who killed Spencer and Monique in their home while their kids were there on December 30th, a lot of it is still a mystery. But the Columbus police chief did make some public comments, and from what we heard, she didn't directly say whether the public is still at risk. Now, what might that tell us about where police are in this investigation? We're going to talk about that, and we'll talk about what the chief reportedly said about the voice you hear in this call.
Hello?
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional.
So that was a 911 call that was first obtained by Fox News Digital, and it claimed that this call was made in April at 2:45 in the morning on a Tuesday from the Tepe's address. Now, it is a woman who said that she had a disagreement with, quote, her man.
Okay. I don't mean nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with somebody?
Me and my man got into it, but I'm okay, I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel hitting over to your address there.
Yes.
If
yes,
anything changes,
I'm sorry.
call us back.
Okay.
So the chief confirmed to local media outlets what Spencer's brother-in-law told us here at Law and Crime this week, and that is the female voice you hear on that call, that is not Monique Tepe's voice. But the chief is also telling local media outlets a little bit more context as to where that call may have been coming from and whether this call could be important to the investigation. Now, the biggest piece of information that we do have at this point when it comes to this investigation and what's been given out to the public by police, it's this video. It's the person of interest walking down an alley behind Spencer and Monique's home in the early hours of December 30th. Police are continuing to call out to the public to see if anyone has more video from a time frame of between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning on December 30th. That is believed to be the time that police think that Spencer and Monique were killed. Now, you can see in the video that they have put out, even though it's grainy, there could be some clues to take away because you see that this person, it appears to be a male. They're wearing gray pants, black shoes, a black coat, and they're walking down this alley in the middle of the night. This is a Tuesday morning this happened. Temperatures were in the 20s. This was the day before New Year's Eve. Now, you can see that this person of interest, they're not looking at the camera, and maybe that's on purpose. This alleyway is one that you can drive down. It gives access to the detached garages behind the townhomes where Spencer and Monique lived. And this is a drone shot from the Tepe's wedding video. It was shot by Spencer's brother-in-law, and you can see the back alley and these fairly new-looking townhomes all in a row. And again, the Tepe's lived in one of those homes. Now, the person of interest, they keep their head down. They don't look up. It's unclear if they know that there are cameras in the back of these homes or maybe on garages as they walk down the street. You do see that in that person of interest video. It's a Nest camera. So this isn't like an official police camera that's out there, but the type of thing that somebody puts on the back of their home if they're maybe concerned about someone trying to break into their garage or someone going through their trash. Now, this person of interest also, they have some mannerisms that you hope that someone watching this video would notice. It looks like they might be pigeon-toed. Police are emphasizing that, again, this is a person of interest. They don't know if this is the killer, if this is the person that they're looking for. The police chief did tell local media that this is really just a person who is in the area at the time where they are really focusing their investigation. This person may just be a person walking down the street after maybe spending time at a bar that closed late on a week where a lot of people were off work because of the holidays. We don't know. But you do consider the circumstances. This is suspicious. And also, we haven't heard if anyone has seen this video. Maybe they recognize that it is them walking down the alley. Maybe they were heading home from a bar or something like that. And yet, days after this video, which is being plastered on the news and on the internet, no one's come forward saying, hey, that was me. It's a big misunderstanding. I'm not the person you're looking for. So still at this point, that is the person of interest that police really want to talk to in this investigation. Now, I do want to talk about a couple new pieces of information that we did learn from these local news interviews that the chief of police in Columbus gave to media outlets in Ohio. Let's get you caught up, though, on where the investigation is, at least at this point. So up until the day that they were killed, Spencer and Monique Tepe, this is a couple that appeared to be living the lives that a lot of people dream of having. They're a young couple, young family. They're in a great home, a couple that was surrounded by people who love them. Their family has said that the Tepes, they loved having people over to their house. They were the kind of people who just loved bringing people together. This is their wedding video. It was shot in 2021 on what appears to be the steps of the home where they were found dead, this townhome in Ohio. Now, the couple had 2 kids, and those kids' ages 4 and 1 years old. Of course, in this story, there is no real good news because 2 people lost their lives. These 2 children lost their parents, but the children were unharmed when their parents were killed. The couple also had a dog. It's a golden doodle, and that dog was unharmed as well. And the children and the animal, they are now with Tepe family members as police continue this investigation.
Yes, you heard that right. A golden doodle. Believe it or not. I was kind of blown away about that too.
Now, Spencer had a great job. It was a job that he appears he really loved as well. He was a dentist and he was working at an office in Athens, Ohio. And man, does it seem like he had a heck of a commute to the office because that's roughly 75 miles from Columbus. His bio at his dental office says that he graduated from Ohio State in 2017. He had a doctor of dental surgery degree. He loved work, but outside of work, he loved the Ohio State Buckeyes. He loved the Cincinnati Bengals. That's where he grew up. And he also loved playing golf, traveling, and spending time with his family. Now, Spencer was married to Monique Tepe. There's an obituary that just went live. It's a joint obituary honoring both of them. And it reads that Monique grew up in Worthington, Ohio. That's a suburb north of Columbus. She grew up playing soccer. She was a runner. And like her husband, she was a graduate of Ohio State. And that's where she earned her master's in early childhood education. And while she was in school, she worked at a daycare. And the obit reads that she was now a stay-at-home mom who was known for her bright smile, infectious laugh, caring heart, and bubbly personality. The obituary says that Spencer and Monique, they were the life of the party. The couple met online, then they get married in December 2020. You know, it is just, as we've been covering this story, just so hard to comprehend how this could happen, because this was a couple. It just keeps sticking out to me just how loved this couple was for their generosity. They had this growing family, and they lose their lives like this. And you can also tell that so many people loved them just by the amount of 911 calls that were made out of concern when Spencer did not show up for work.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home.
So if you've been following this story with us, you know that these 911 calls that were made on December 30th, they started around 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is when Spencer didn't show up for work. The Columbus police chief did give an important piece of information, though, related to the response to these 911 calls. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment.
This individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
two
in
kids in
Florida.
the home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
So the first call that came in was from Spencer's boss. He told the dispatcher that he was on vacation in Florida, and he started getting calls from Spencer's coworkers because Dr. Tepe didn't show up.
Have you guys received anything else, like calls about him or like a car accident or anything like that?
No, sometimes people just don't show up to work. I mean, maybe he's sick. I don't know.
Now, as much as the dispatcher says, hey, it's common for people not to show up, maybe they overslept, maybe they're sick, Spencer's boss is just so adamant and concerned on this call that Spencer is just not the type of person who is a no-show at work and doesn't tell anyone.
I just know that he is the most, like, he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. Like, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
About 20 minutes later, at 9:22, an officer arrived on scene, but no one answered at the couple's home. Now, this is the part of the story where we just got some major context that we're about to talk about. Concerned friends of the Tepes then go to the couple's house, and they say that they heard the children of the Tepes inside the home. So this is around 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the
We already
wellness.
had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Then you get another call from Spencer's work.
Our boss did not report to work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear
Okay,
kids
I
inside.
just talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
5 minutes later, there is
I'm gonna tell you right now, this 911 operator has irritated the shit out of me. She's very rude, and obviously she screwed up, in my opinion. I think she screwed up, unless the officer misheard the address or something. But I don't care for this 911 operator at all.
Another phone call, and this is the phone call where a friend says that they see Spencer Teppe's body.
We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
Now, as the caller waits, you can hear what sounds like small children in the background. The Teppe's kids, again, these kids were unharmed.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead. Okay. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like puddle, like, you know, does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay, all right, understand. Okay, and then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay. Yeah. How old is he?
37.
37. Okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right, we're on our way.
Now, that concerned friend saw Spencer's body inside the home.
Our caller saying they can hear kids inside. Thought he heard one of them yelling. Now we're getting another call saying there's a body inside. That's receiving copy.
Who's saying there's a body inside?
When police went inside the home, they did find Spencer dead, as well as his wife. WSYX TV says that Dr. Teppe was shot multiple times and Monique had at least one gunshot wound to the chest. Police have not said that they have a murder weapon. They do not believe that this is a murder-suicide. Police reportedly recovered a couple 9mm shell casings from the scene. Of course, that is key evidence. That could tell us a lot about the killer, not only as that evidence, but you also have to think, if this was someone who knew how police would investigate this crime and how crime scene investigation works, why would they leave those shell casings behind? But I want to talk about what the police chief of Columbus said about that initial response to those 911 calls, because there's some important context here. Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant, it appears, gave one-on-one interviews to local media outlets in Ohio yesterday. We here at Law and Crime, we have reached out to the chief to see if she would like to join us on our show as well. And she said in her interview, this is from 10 TV in Columbus, that they haven't identified a suspect at this point. And as far as the 911 calls, now when I heard that for the first time, where this dispatcher said an officer responded to the Teppe's home when it was just someone calling saying they were concerned because Dr. Teppe didn't show up, I found it a bit confusing as to how the officer didn't find anything, and yet the friend who calls and showed up a short time later ends up getting into the home and finding Spencer's body. But they talk about hearing the Teppe's children inside the house. And my question was, why didn't the officer hear any of that?
Am I home?
There we go.
Now, the chief of police told local media in Columbus that this police officer went to the wrong address, and that is the body cam video that we at Law and Crime obtained on Friday. And in this video, you can hear the officer whistling. He walks up to the door. He knocks on the door of this home, and nobody answers. He checks out the property, and then he leaves. Now, the Columbus Dispatch is reporting that the house that he went to is on Summit Street, and that street runs parallel to the street where Spencer and Monique Teppe lived. Again, it would be about a half hour after this that the 911 call.
So the only thing I can understand is that when 911 dispatches anybody, they give cross streets, okay? Like, for instance, when they would send us out, they would give the cross streets to the address that we're headed to. So only thing I can think of is the officer heard the cross street. Maybe there was some interference and he got confused. That's the only thing that made any sense to me with that, because I've never seen that happen before, where you go to the wrong address. That's crazy to me, but it is what it is.
Would say that he found Spencer Teppe's body, and then police responded after that, and then certainly this story went to a completely different level. The chief also told 10 TV that the 911 caller, the one that you hear, where he says he saw Spencer's body, he actually went inside the home and saw the body. So that means that this person had access to the Tepe's home. Now, the bodies of the Tepe's were also reportedly found in a second floor bedroom. Now, to this point, it is still unclear what the motive is for these murders. The chief said that police are still trying to track down surveillance video from people who maybe have it on their homes or maybe a business nearby, anything that could end up being a clue to crack this case. But they do say that the public has stepped up and has provided a lot of video, and detectives are combing through every single minute of that. Now, there is a police camera as well that is positioned near the Tepe's home. The chief was asked about that and whether that camera caught anything related to the case. The chief would not answer that question directly, just saying they're continuing to pour through countless tips and evidence and videos as they come in from the public. Now, the chief also addressed that 911 call that was made months earlier in her interview with the Columbus Dispatch, the newspaper. Now, this was the call. It ends up going viral. Fox News Digital puts it out, where it's this girl who is crying, and she's saying that she got into some sort of argument with her boyfriend, her husband. She says her man. Again, this was according to Fox News Digital.
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I'm just emotional.
Now, we have this audio as well, and it's reportedly this call made on April 15th at 2:45 in the morning. April 15th was a Tuesday, and the call is from this woman. She's emotional about having a dispute. Now, the woman you hear on the phone, she says that she and her man got into it, but she also says that she's okay, so police end up canceling the call to send an officer to the house. The dispatch says that that caller never gave her name either, so there's not really any information about who she is or where she went. But again, the chief said that the voice that you hear is not that of Monique Tepe. In fact, the call also may not have even been made from the Tepe's home, because the chief said in more densely populated areas with multiple cell phone towers, like the neighborhood that the Tepes live in, a call from a cell phone can actually be from within a 30-meter radius. So that call could have been made from somewhere around the Tepe's home, but not in the Tepe's home. Now, the chief also told the Columbus Dispatch that there is no history of calls from the Tepe's address or related to the Tepe's. Now, the chief continues to urge patience in this investigation. She says that the department is being as transparent as they possibly can while they're continuing to maintain the integrity of the investigation. Joining us now is retired detective commander with the Chicago Police Department, Will Svilar. Always great to have you on Law and Crime, and you've been great in helping us understand this story as it's continued to unfold. Before we dive into what the chief had to say in these kind of one-on-one interviews it appears she gave to some of the local media outlets there, what is it like right now in the Detective Bureau in Columbus as the days go on?
You know, they're running out all these leads. They're based what I saw in that interview with the chief, they've got some leads. They're going in a specific direction on this. But as a detective, all you want to do is work on your case. You don't want all the distractions from the outside, and that's where your layer of supervision comes in. My job as a supervisor was to give my detectives all the tools they needed so they could do their job, and I'll handle all the other stuff. So they're doing their job, and I think the chief did a good thing by going, and the deputy chief did a good thing by going on TV.
Yeah, because I think you look at, there's just been some silence, and you want police spending more time investigating a crime and hopefully solving a crime than needing to answer questions from the media. But there's just been so much speculation, especially in the online space, with what potentially happened. There were two pieces of information, at least two to me, that stood out that she confirmed through some of the local media stations. It was Channel 10 that said that the Tepes were both found upstairs in a bedroom, so second floor, and that the 911 caller, when you listen to that call and the person who calls back and says there is a body here, that is someone who was actually inside the house. It was unclear before whether maybe they saw through a window or something like that, but they were actually able to go into the home. What does that tell you?
So obviously they know this person. Whoever went into their home knows this person well enough to either know where a key is or know the code to get into the house. So this is a pretty close friend. Now, I was a little confused when I listened to the 911 calls as well, because it sounded like one of the callers said, I hear babies crying, but I can't get in. Now, my question is that the same caller who says they're on the second floor invisible? Because that's kind of contradictory of what happened. If you're in there, you're in there. Are you taking the kids out, removing them from that? I mean, those things are a little up in the air for me, and I wasn't clear on it when I listened to the 911 calls.
Yeah, it was definitely part because I remember the first time I listened to the 911 call, just even, it kind of goes into the part we'll talk about with the initial officer went to the wrong home apparently. But because you could hear the kids in the background of the call, and I wasn't sure if it was like they were on the door and then this 911 caller's on the outside. So there's still some questions as far as kind of just the layout, and we'll get the context eventually on all of this. Knowing that the Teppies were in their bedroom, because before when it was like no forced entry, it was like, did someone come to the house? They had some sort of conversation, and maybe they did. But now we're thinking, according to police, 2 and 5 in the morning in a bedroom upstairs. So potentially sleeping when this happened. The fact that she's upstairs as well, it seems they're both shot in the bedroom, but then there's that no forced entry part of it. I guess as you're piecing together the steps of what potentially happened, like how do those pieces of information kind of factor into what you're thinking?
I mean, the no forced entry is a huge part of it. The condition of the home is a huge part of it. The location of the bodies are all huge parts of it. And it would suggest
information that we have at this point is that person of interest video, that person walking down the alleyway, and then part of me is like, and we don't know if they have more videos of this person of interest, but my question would be like, why not put out more of them if they actually do, if they have as much video as they say that they have? And maybe they don't have, I will say, like, maybe they just don't have any more video of the guy, but if they do, why would you withhold that information?
Good question. If they're withholding that information, there's a reason for it. It's not that they're trying to keep the public in the dark, but maybe they're trying to not tip who they're looking at. So again, to have just one piece of information like that, just one piece of someone walking down the alley behind the residence, it seems like there'd be more. There's cameras.
So the rest of what's on here means nothing, you guys. I'm not going to bore you with that, but I do have 1 minute here. Let me see here. Can you stop, Kaden? All right, 1 minute, folks. Now, you guys know this already, but there's more.
Unit 43.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I don't know what happened here. 1 second. I don't know how that ended up doing that. Sorry about that, you guys. So what we got now listed is the ex-husband charged with murder in deaths of Wineland Park couple. This was updated as of today, folks, okay? It says the ex-husband of a woman found shot to death with her new husband December 30th in Wineland Park has been charged with murder in the deaths. It has it listed as Michael David McKee, 39 of Chicago, faces 2 counts of murder, according to Franklin County Municipal Court documents. And according to the online court records, a warrant was issued January 10th, which is today, for McKee's arrest. That's weird because Michael McKee, that's the same guy that was in Laverne and Shirley and Spinal Tap and stuff. That's the same name. It's not him, obviously, but according to online records, a warrant was issued January 10th for McKee's arrest in Winnebago County, Illinois. Sheriff's Office records indicate that he was booked into jail there shortly before noon today. He will remain there until authorities extradite him back to Franklin County, which is Columbus. Monique Tepe, 39, Spencer Tepe, 37, died on December 30th, just before their 5-year wedding anniversary. So this guy and her have been separated for 5 years at least, guys. At least 5 years. And he still hadn't gotten over this. This is crazy. Welcome, Crime and Chaos. After being found shot inside their home on the 1400 block of North 4th Street in Wineland Park, the couple's two young children, both under the age of 5, were found physically unhurt inside the home, thank God. Columbus homicide detectives identified McKee through neighborhood video surveillance. Police alleged in court documents that they tracked the suspect to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after. They found the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence that McKee had the vehicle before and after the killings. Columbus police have not publicly identified a potential motive in the couple's deaths, but around 9 a.m. on December 30th, co-workers of Spencer's from the dentistry office where he worked in Athens called Columbus police after Spencer did not show up for work and no one could reach Spencer or Monique by phone. An officer went to do a well-being check, but went to a home on Summit Street instead of the Tepe home. We all know this. According to the body cam footage released by Columbus police, about 40 minutes after that check, friends of Tepe's found them dead in their home. Of the Tepe's, I'm sorry. Police have focused the investigation on the window of time between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. on December 30th. Which is when they believe the couple was actually killed. On January 5th, detectives released video from a security camera showing a person walking in the alley near the Tepe's home. During that time frame, calling the person a person of interest. A public visitation for the Tepe's will be held from noon to 3 on January 11th at the Schoedinger Northwest Funeral Home on Zollinger Road in Upper Arlington. An additional gathering for a celebration of life will occur from 3:30 to 6 p.m. And so that's the newest article that was put out. So they have the ex-husband of Monique in custody for questioning, obviously, and they're actually gone beyond questioning. They're charging him with 2 counts of murder at this point out of Chicago. Yeah, it's weird. That's a good point, SRB. You mentioned something gave them a 2 to 5 a.m. timeline. Very strange start time too. I agree with that. Okay, 1 minute here, guys. Sorry. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to put this out, you guys, but give me a minute here. Let's see. Sorry. I'm just going to show this video of this person walking again real quick, who I'm going to gather very well could be the ex.
Attention, Columbus police have released new video showing a person of interest in the death of a dentist and his wife. It's been 1 week since Spencer and Monique Tepe were found shot inside their home. The video shows a person of interest walking in an alley near their home on December 30th, the day police believe they were killed. Police are also asking the public to share any Ring camera video from between 2 and 5 a.m. that day. Couple's 2 children, ages 4 and 1, were unharmed and are being cared for by relatives. An update now on a story gaining national attention. Columbus.
So that video again is who I believe they could believe to be the ex-husband. 5+ years, and wow, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? 1 minute here. 1 second here. My apologies, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute. Bear with me. Let's see here.
kind of makes me wonder if there's some form of domestic that was involved between the ex.
Well, it's been like 5 years though, boss. You know what I mean? It's like what was something recently going down? I mean, it's wild, but
I mean, it's not common thing,
right.
really. I mean, obsessive people uh, run away from a domestic like that, and
Yo, agreed.
they're trying to move heaven and earth just to try to find them again, and
Right. Yeah.
maybe that's something.
So here's
That's
the
a part of
docket.
it.
Here's the docket for his arrest. It shows his name up here, defendant Michael David McKee. That's his address is blacked out, obviously, out of Chicago, Illinois. Officer is Russ Weiner. Weiner, I think it's Weiner. Russell Weiner, Columbus PD, so on and so forth. The degree of defense shows that it's a murder, of course, and warrant issued for on January 10th. Michael McKee. So they issued the warrant today and picked him up today. But we don't know if it's him yet. But if they have him in custody, odds are pretty good. Just saying.
I mean, if they can track down their phone calls to make, see if there's any messages or any form of our favorite word is stalking or
Yeah, right.
or any obsessive behavior. I mean,
Some
5
people-
years. I mean, that's a long ass time, but
right. That's the biggest thing there. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest issue there, that it's been so long, and usually after that period of time, most people can get over it. So this is him. That is the ex right there. Michael David McKee. I mean, maybe he just couldn't get over her. She's a very pretty woman, obviously. Very, very. And 1 minute here.
I mean, seeing her being married to him and in a wedding dress, I'm pretty sure that pissed him off.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's looking kind of crazy in this dang on picture.
It does look a little rough. I'll say that. The sad thing is,
Of course, that's all alleged. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe a possible reason behind it, but that's one of the main reasons.
Well, what we need to see is
It's
we need to see some real proof, maybe unless or I think Fizzy just said it too, or like a confession or something. You know what I mean? I mean, could it be him? Sure, absolutely. They're gonna arrest him, but we've seen too many things happen that make us not trust some of these situations. So that's why we want certain proof. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a lot of cases out there too. They go of domestic violence.
Yeah.
A lot of cases about obsessive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of that's been going on that's not really being looked into.
Yes.
I mean, you look at Gabby Petito case is a prime example of that. So,
right.
It's something to take very serious about. But yeah, they just gonna have to look at like I said, just gonna have to see the pattern of it and see what's going on with it.
Yeah, and they're not gonna give us just give us their info, That's just doesn't work that way. I know, as much as we want them to. I feel like they probably have something pretty strong pointing to him other than just that video. They said they followed him to a vehicle that via cams, in my opinion, they followed him to a specific vehicle. So hold on here, let me see what Lana had put something out. Hold on a minute here, because Lana's right there. She lives like literally right there. I wish to God I was closer because I could have went myself to this area. Give me 1 minute here. Let's see. This isn't brand new. Give me 1 minute here. There she is. Ms. Alana herself. Hold on a minute here.
We're live, truth and transparency, down in the short north, Columbus, Ohio, right here at the High and Buttles, a pop-in area where Monique Tepe and Spencer Tepe would hang out. There has been update, and that update is that the ex-husband of Monique Tepe is in custody in Chicago, in the area. That's all we have right now. But in custody does not mean arrested. In custody is brought down for an attempt to have a formal interview, but you cannot leave, but you do have the right to remain silent.
So again, that was at noon that she put this out. I believe that there have been 2 charges put out at this point. And again, this Michael David McKee was a surgeon. He wasn't just your everyday nobody. He was somebody of importance. I think it was some sort of like a vascular surgeon or yeah, there it is, a vascular surgeon. Thank you, Kat. Yes, that's what he did for a living, guys. So he was somebody of importance. He wasn't just your everybody, everyday nobody guy. And he was a doctor as well. That's, it is what it is. So we got one doctor killing another doctor and his wife. I mean, this is crazy stuff, guys, but it happens every single day. You don't have to be somebody living under a bridge and a nobody to be crazy or to be obsessive or to have some issues, folks. It is what it is. Mental health is a real thing, and it can be brought on by many things, and anybody can have it. Here, people, facts are facts.
You have the right to get an attorney. All those good things that this beautiful country affords us. So, breaking news, the ex-husband of Monique Tepe is in custody. Again, that does not mean that he is arrested. He is not in Columbus. He is in the area around Chicago. So again, I am actually in the short north district in lovely Columbus. It's a very shitty day, but the short north, an area where Spencer and Monique would hang out.
And this is actually a really, really decent, really nice area in Columbus. A lot of cool things down there. I've been there quite a few times actually. But really, really, really good place to be. Not a bad area at all. So
I'm gonna flip this camera around.
yeah, our weather sucks today.
Nope, so much for that, but there we go. Here we are. Again, these were the different hotspot areas where Monique and Spencer would hang out. Everybody loves the short north, but yet breaking news. One of my favorite spots, Press Grill. I wanted to make this video also about Monique and Spencer. Tomorrow, the families are having a double funeral. So again, this is the Short North Arts District. And it is an update, breaking news in the Monique Spencer Tepe murders. There has been some movements, not in Columbus, Ohio, but around the area, Chicago, where Monique Tepe's ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, is in custody. Again, it does not mean that he is arrested. He is in custody. And we're going to have more on this breaking news update. I'll be going live from my channel in the comfort of not raining. But we'll be back with more. Again, live from Columbus, Ohio, Short North Arts District. Truth and Transparency. Lana Oriani, over and out.
All right, thank you, Miss Lana, for that. That's a really cool area, guys. My band played down there. I played in years ago a couple times. Pretty neat place to hang out, especially at nighttime and stuff like that. But like she said, this is where the Teppies hung out at, things they did together, places they did things together at, so on and so forth. Very sad situation. And yes, the weather's shitty. But thank you, Lana, for being live there and showing us a little bit of this area that this horrible situation happened and it left these 2 children behind parentless, guys. It's a horrible situation because somebody was obsessed, needed help, and couldn't handle a situation. I'm just saying. And like she said, they're going to be having a memorial funeral double funeral for them tomorrow, I believe, on the 11th. That's why I said they made the arrest before the funeral because people were feeling unsafe to go innocent. No, I got you. Yeah. And yes, of course, guys, very much so. Absolutely. Anyone is innocent until proven guilty, period. That's just how it is, and it should be, and it needs to stay that way. So, any thoughts on this at all besides what you stated already there, Mr. Hemi?
Yeah, well, just looking forward to get more info. I mean, I don't want to jump into conclusions that's not really there, but that's just a rough estimate of possibility. I mean, it's not
right.
It's not a heads or tail, win or lose, draw scenario, but I would like to stay in touch with it and see where it goes. But you got 2 kids involved, so you got.
Now there is rumor that there was some form of stalking going on months beforehand. Okay, I don't have exact details on this, but it has been stated, and again, I'm looking forward to getting more information about that situation. If it is Michael David McKee, I would be interested to know for sure. Give me a second here.
The accident 911 call that was kind of a red flag for me. I mean, that's never know who that might have been. That might have been the perp, and why we're not sending out law enforcement out there just to investigate it. I mean, you just never know. I mean, rather be safe than sorry. But other than that, I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, that's the second 911
right. Now we have somebody in custody, but I'm going to give you the little bit of a Q&A with the police chief real quick here from yesterday, just to maybe answer some of the questions you guys might have if you haven't seen this. Pretty wild, though. The whole case is really wild to me, but just 1 second.
It's the most high-profile case of the year. What is the latest in the double murder of the Teppies?
Yep. So obviously this is a national news case. I just want to preface that by saying that we think that every single case that we have is high profile. We care about every single case that we have, which is why we don't just stop when a year ends, we don't stop investigating it, which is why we have 30 additional cases from previous years that are solved. Our detectives work diligently to close every single case to bring justice to every single family, which is why we have 100 homicides solved last year. In this case in particular,
good point,
what
Richie.
we do know is that obviously we received a call for a well-being check related to the 2 victims involved in this case. There was an officer that was dispatched to go to that well-being check. Unfortunately, he did respond to the wrong location initially. He went to the wrong location, and in him believing that he was at the right location, he did everything that he was supposed to do. Knocked on the doors, checked the backyard, did all those things, but it was not the right location. Approximately about maybe 40 minutes later, we had received another call because the coworkers of one of the victims stated that they had not reported to work and they were really concerned, so they went to the house, and that's when subsequently the bodies were found of the 2 victims as it relates to this case. We are working very diligently to try to solve this case. We know that people are concerned, and we know that people have a lot of questions. What we're asking for is patience as it relates to this investigation. We want to make sure that we don't compromise the integrity of this investigation. So when we finally identify a suspect and it goes to trial or it goes to, we want to make sure that there's nothing that could cause this case to be dismissed or cause this case to be kicked. So we're looking at every single tip or every single information that comes in. We leave no stone unturned. We're investigating it, but there's only so much that we can share at this point. We released a video of the person of interest that we're looking for, the person that we know that was in the area at that time. We're asking the community, we're asking the public, if you have any information, if you think you know anything about this person, please contact us. Please call us. You can email us. You can call us. You can call Crime Stoppers. Even if you don't think it's something that's relevant in that moment, it may have been something you saw last week. It may have been something that you saw the day before. It can be relevant to this case. Please reach out. Please let us know. So we are asking for tips. We have received numerous tips as it relates to this case, but we do not have at this moment a suspect that we have identified.
Do you believe that person who was in the video is the suspect, or just someone who was there at the time when the murders happened?
Evidence is going to give us that information as we continue to dig, as we continue to gather as much as we can. Right now, we know that they were there. So right now, what we want.
So again, this is what things can happen at the drop of a hat, folks. This was yesterday. Now, is she being honest? Probably not. They probably did have somebody of interest, had him. They were looking into him. They had to take the time to get the warrant, to do this, to do that, to prove it, and all that stuff. So there's that too. And until they do that, she can't say that they have a suspect per se. Okay, so there's that as well.
It's for people to be able to give us more information so that we can then collect that evidence and make a determination on whether that's the case.
Now, there's a crime camera just across the street from the Tepes residence. Did that crime camera catch anything that's been useful to the department?
We're still reviewing a lot of video. We're still looking at a lot of evidence. Again, the information that we're releasing, we want to be as transparent as possible and release that. But there are some things we're just not going to be able to share at this time related to the investigation. But what I can tell you is that we are looking at so much video information and so much content that we're still combing through. So we don't have all the answers.
But Richie, she's definitely not the first African-American police chief in Ohio. I promise you that. By no means whatsoever.
And so our investigators are diligently working. They're still gathering information. And as soon as we're able to, we're going to provide another update.
Is anybody about the community at this time, though? Community at large?
I'll add that any homicide investigation is a delicate balance between community safety and investigative integrity. When there's a community safety issue, that's information that we got get out as soon as possible. You know, our homicide teams have been canvassing the area every single day since this tragedy occurred, and they're making a lot of relationships in the Wyland Park area. The community members have stepped up and they have provided a lot of information. For every second of video, that's every second of video that a detective has to watch. And so when we have tens of thousands of hours of video, detectives watch every bit of that. And that's obviously not an instantaneous lead. Additionally, the chief mentioned a number of.
That's an interesting point, Richie, possibly. But SRB has a great point here too. It's sad that people don't think about long-term obsession, especially when there's no resolve. We don't know how this ended completely. Their previous, I mean, we do. My understanding is that she kind of just packed up and left one night. End of story. And because she wanted out. That's, you know what I mean? That's kind of my thought on how this went down. That could explain if there was no resolve, which is there wouldn't be. If she just packed her shit and left one night, Oh, you're okay, Richie. No worries, bro. No worries at all. But yeah, 100%. You know, if that's what happened, and she kind of did it in, you know, the middle of the night or during the, just what I mean, without there being a mutual agreement on it, that could leave something open for years. It makes perfect sense. An obsession can make it stronger and stronger and stronger, and anger because nobody leaves me type thing, you know, type people. So yeah, that absolutely. And it could just set it off, I found you. Maybe they were in hiding. Maybe she was hiding from him. He had no idea where she was for 5 years. Who knows? And then all of a sudden, boom, he figures it out, and he's going to get his revenge or exact his revenge however he chooses at that point. We don't know for sure yet, but that could be what the story is. We just don't know.
Tips that have come in since we released that video. And our detectives, we have a great triage system that the tips are sent to detectives. Detectives follow up on all of those tips. Some of them pan out to some additional information and follow up. Some of them are just not good tips, but we follow up on every one. Again, that speaks to the partnership with the community. That speaks to the work. So what I'm describing, the canvassing, the review of video, that happened.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make, Siggy. So I feel like she was hiding from this guy the best she could. And then, he was obsessed and he figured it out, found her, and here we are, sadly.
It's on every single homicide that our detectives investigate. If there's anything good out of this, it's that people are paying attention to the professionalism of our detectives and the significant work that they do.
Do you know how many tips that you guys have gotten?
Several tips, a lot of tips, in a lot of different ways. So we've gotten them emailed, social media, telephone calls, texts, in person. We've gotten a lot of tips.
In regard to the protest tonight, how do you plan to handle that as the protest at 6 p.m.?
We're going to do it the same way that we handle every protest. We have our dialogue team that has been phenomenal in being able to facilitate and work with these groups. We want to make sure that people are able to protest in a peaceful manner and that their First Amendment rights are not violated. So we're going to continue to work in collaboration with them, continue to have that dialogue, and make sure that we're there and available to make sure that everyone's safety is a priority.
I want to begin.
All right, and as much as this hurts, I'm going to show you this because it has some info about this that's interesting. Just pretend like it's not her, if you can. I'm saying.
Oh my God, she covered the case too. They go.
It covers anything she can get her hands in. We know.
Oh God.
So sorry, guys, but there is some interesting information here. Just give me 1 minute here.
With a bizarre event on a street that now is at the center of the true crime universe, North 4th Street in Columbus, Ohio. Until last night, North 4th was Spencer and Monique Tepe's street. They lived at 1411 with their 2 small kids, and as you probably know, they were shot to death in the early morning hours of December 30th. The kids and the family dog were left unharmed in that bloodbath. We have played you a string of increasingly frantic calls to 911 from the morning that the Tepes were found dead, right? We have played you the bizarre back and forth between a 911 dispatcher and an unknown female who called the police from inside the Tepe house back in April and then abruptly hung up. The dispatcher called back, but the crying woman insisted she didn't need and didn't want help after all. A relative of the Tepe says that was definitely not Monique Tepe on that call. But tonight there is yet another piece of the puzzle. On December 19th, that's 11 days before the murders, a neighbor of the Tepes called 911, 2:31 a.m., right in the window. And she said someone was, quote, smashing and, quote, banging on her door and wouldn't leave. Take a listen.
What's the emergency?
Somebody's knocking on my door. I think they're trying to get in. They're banging on my door.
Okay, someone's banging and knocking. Do you know who this is?
No.
Do you have a description of them?
No, I can't see anything.
Have you told them, have you asked them what they want or if they need something?
No.
According to the dispatch logs, the quote unquote problem left at 2:44 a.m., which means that the neighbor of the Tepes dealt with 13 minutes of this kind of terrifying behavior. Her address is said to be a 3-minute walk just up the street on North 4th. And to be clear, no one in authority at this point is linking this episode to the murders, at least not publicly. They're not. In fact, when it comes to being public, the authorities haven't said much of anything for 9 straight days. apart from releasing that little bit of surveillance video showing a person of interest, that's what they call him, a person of interest in the alley behind the victim's house.
It almost makes you wonder if this person was looking for her and thought maybe didn't have the address 100%, thought that was the address to the house and they were wrong, and then they got it right finally. It's sadly. So that makes you wonder that.
Police say there were no signs of forced entry in the house. There was no murder weapon either, though they did find 9mm shell casings. I'm going to stop right here and run all of this past an expert. Jennifer Coffendorfer is a retired FBI agent and friend of the show. And
oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. There's two of them. So my apologies, please.
before I get to all that stuff, Jennifer Coffendorfer, thank you for joining. You've got some news that you have discovered just by means of Google. What do you have?
Well, I tell you what, this was something that I used a lot in the Brian Kohberger Idaho 4 case. And basically, it's looking at trending on Google. In other words, who's being Googled? When are they being Googled in connection with a particular homicide? So, for instance, on the Brian Kohberger, somebody was Googling Brian Kohberger before anybody ever knew that name. And I believe that was Brian Kohberger Googling himself right after those murders up until he was arrested. In this particular situation, I noticed that somebody is Googling or Googled 1411 North 4th that you just spoke about many times. In fact, the peak amount of times, even compared to after the murders, before the murders on December 5th. And I found that very interesting. Why?
Yeah, to say the very least, before the murders, a lot of Google. I can only wonder, Jen, if it might have been the parties, because they were said to hold a lot of parties. I will say this, the brother-in-law who spoke with us on this program, who said that's not my sister-in-law's voice on the 911 call, he did walk back the fact that there was no party that night. He'd said there was a party that night. He's now checked his calendar and he said it was wrong. But they had parties all the time. Is it possible it could have been all the party goers Googling to find it, or are they using the address to Google?
Well, I thought it might have been. But then when I looked back at a party we know about, which is that party back in April with the phone call you spoke about, you don't see that trending. So in other words, it's not the number that you see, it's the percentage that you see. And this is the highest percentage even after the murders. So somebody was really looking at all the information related to that address. In addition, if you look on November 30th, Dr. Tepe, he was actually Googled a huge percentage as well. All I'm saying is that law enforcement, and I'm sure they're already doing that, is looking at who actually committed those Google searches. Because if somebody assisted in this crime that was more of a professional, Ashley, they would want to know everything they could about Dr. Tepe and that address well in advance.
Yeah, it makes sense. What do you make of this 911 call that we're now hearing down the street? Same time frame, middle of the night, somebody banging and crashing around at their door and terrifying them for 15 minutes.
Right. Two things. First of all, this area that they're in is not a good area, Ashley. It's surrounded by some of the worst gangs and drugs and crime problem in that city. And they're, of course, trying to revitalize it and get it to be a really nice, yuppie neighborhood. So because the modus operandi, if you will, seems to be different, although that time frame is significant, you can bet law enforcement is going to look at that.
Okay, she's an idiot. I can't with her. Some of the things she says are just so yuppie neighborhood. What is this woman? They're both a mess. They deserve each other. Anyway, moving on.
I'm sorry. That's a serious question I asked in chat. Who actually Googles their own damn name?
Sometimes it's been known. That's an FBI statistic I found a long time ago that killers or serial killers will actually Google themselves. That's a claim that was made by FBI years ago because they're looking to see who's looking at them and what information they can find on them if they're a suspect, so on and so forth. But I can't do it with Cop and Hacker. She says stupid things constantly. So It's like, yeah, it's so out there, bro. You ain't lying. She's way ridiculous. So, real quick, guys, let's find out a little bit about who is Michael David McKee. This is Monique Tepe's ex-husband, charged with killing her and Spencer Tepe now at this point. Right, Meg's the Googler. So it says Monique Tepe ex-husband Michael David McKee faces 2 counts of murder in the December 30th shooting deaths of Monique and her new husband Spencer in their Columbus home. Franklin County court records now show he is the ex-husband of Monique, has been charged with 2 counts, of course, as I said. 39-year-old Chicago man was arrested January 10th in Rockford, Illinois, according to Winnebago County Sheriff's Office records and Franklin County Municipal Court documents. Columbus homicide detectives identified McKee through neighborhood video surveillance that captured a vehicle arriving just before the killings and then leaving shortly thereafter. So they followed that vehicle, and they basically, from my understanding, tracked that vehicle to Rockford in Illinois. So Monique, 39, and Spencer, 37, found shot to death inside their residence, as we all know, at the 1400 block of North 4th Street in Wineland Park on December 30th. The couple's 2 children, both under 5, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Thank God they were not harmed. At least this guy, whoever did this, has some form of morality to not harm the children. Jesus, because that could have been so much worse. They were discovered unharmed in the home by responding officers, and the slayings occurred just days before the pair's 5th wedding anniversary, turning a morning welfare check into a grim discovery. Blah, blah, blah. We know that. 1 minute, sorry. So there again is the booking photograph of McKee. The dude does look a little rough, okay? But again, that does not mean that this man committed this crime, okay? At all. So we have to wait and see. Police zeroed in on the window between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. That day as the likely time of death. Detectives publicly released alley surveillance video on January 5th, showing a person of interest, as we know, near the home during those hours. Investigators later traced the suspect vehicle to Rockford, like I said, where the evidence confirmed that McKee possessed it before and after the homicides. Court filings state Columbus police have not disclosed a motive for the double homicide, and McKee remains jailed in Illinois pending extradition to Franklin County for formal proceedings. The Tepe's family confirmed to ABC6 that McKee is Monique's former spouse, though no further details on their past relationship has emerged publicly. The timeline began around 9 a.m. on December 30th when Spencer's colleagues, we all know this stuff, they called in, so on and so forth. Let me see if it gives Columbus Police Homicide Unit Assist Chief Elaine Bryant described the case as complex during a January 7th briefing, which is what we saw a little bit earlier. Tips flooded in after a person of interest video released aiding the vehicle trace. Investigators balanced public appeals with operational security through the probe. So the man may have rented a car, drove from Chicago to Ohio. I think it's like a 5 or 6 hour drive per se from where he was. Rented the car, committed the crime, if again it's him, and drove home. I mean, it's pretty wild, but it does happen. You know, I want to see, and this is again, guys, we've been damaged. Okay, we've been damaged by some of the cases that we cover, where they'll take somebody into custody for a crime with showing no proof of it. So that's something we really want to see. And I'm hoping we will. It says that public visitation for the Tepes is tomorrow from noon to 3 p.m., as we all know, for anybody that was going to go to that, if you're close to them. And I'm sure nobody in this community is. But McKee's arrest marks a swift turn in the case that gripped Central Ohio amid trending searches for Tepe's murder and Columbus dentist killed. Sorry. Prosecutors will pursue the charges once extradition completes in coming days. The surviving children are with family. Investigation continues. I can't talk today. Sorry, guys. And that's really, there's not much on him as of yet. They're still keeping things pretty tight-lipped right now. But that's not to say that this won't open up pretty good. Given some time. Once we get some more information, I'll definitely be putting that out too. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, guys. Just a second. Okay, so like the complaint against him is real. For sure. It shows 1 minute here. This is the document itself. It's kind of hard to see it. 1 minute. There we go. That might help. Complainant being duly sworn, blah, 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 Franklin County, Columbus. Knowingly caused the death to wit Monique Francis Tepes by means of shooting her with a firearm. So that's part of it. Okay. That's the one against Monique. So they probably have separate complaints in as far as charges go. So these are charged. He has been charged, period. Filed January 10th. There it is. That's the complaint against Michael David McKee. Again, filed via Russ Weiner. I can't stand it. I hope his name is Weiner, not Wiener, but it's spelled Weiner. Yeah, there's the arrest warrant. Box checked off there, and the complaint against him. These are the charges. So he has been charged, period. What's up, Willie? In both their deaths as of today. So I'm guessing that Monday morning, they'll have his first hearing, more than likely. And hopefully I'll be able to show it to you guys. Let's see. Let me see. And I looked into him, and I can't find a whole lot on him as of yet. Okay, he's scheduled. Yeah, Monday morning. They're scheduled for his indictment hearing or extradition hearing first. Of course, they has to be extradited back to Columbus here. And that's how they caught him, I'm guessing, is like I said, they tracked the vehicle from here to Rockford, Illinois. There really is nothing else on this, or nothing new. Somewhere between 2 and 5 a.m. is when it took place, per se. And again, McKee is a doctor. He has both medical licensures databases show that McKee has active licenses in both Illinois and California. He's identified as working as a vascular surgeon in a practice in the Rockford, Illinois area. I'm sorry, the same area where his vehicle was found. McKee went to medical school at Ohio State University and has family in the Zanesville area, according to publicly available information. That's really all we can find on him. So let's see, Zanesville, I know where that's at. And if he went to OSU, that's interesting. Very interesting. Maybe he knows Dr. Tepes. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, like I said, yeah, it sounds like he's been around a little bit here and here, a little bit everywhere, you know? There's nothing newer than that at this point. So there I guess we're pretty much waiting on the Monday's hearing, extradition hearing, to see what happens there.
Yes.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that has dropped since I've been live. I'm curious about this April call about this girl that called from within the Tepe's home but said she didn't need help. That's weird to me. Something's weird with that one.
Yeah, that's a red flag for me too.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, the neighbor having the banging and slamming is interesting. Like I said, it almost feels like if she was in hiding from him, that he may have thought he found her, you know, and it was the wrong house at first, and then got it cleaned up and figured out exactly which house it was. Thank you, SR.
Again, speculating here, but you just never know. That might have been his girlfriend.
Yeah, could be.
Same.
That's interesting. Yes.
That would be interesting. That'd be a twist.
Sure would be. Sure would be.
That takes Crime of Passion to a whole new level.
Thank you again, SRB. They said that the call was traced back to one of their friends. So, see. That I didn't catch, Mike. So then maybe she was just having a bad night that night after one of the parties, blah, 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 so on and so forth, and just chose to change her mind. Let's see here. That's a good point, too. They had their wedding video on YouTube at their home.
Yeah, and you got to look at Facebook, too. If she's on Facebook or any kind of social media or anything like that.
Good point. Very good point. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else beyond that at this point.
That's kind of crazy. That's the first time I ever heard anything like that, though. Something might have happened in the past that I just don't recall. But for 5 years that they've spent together, two kids, do we know the two kids belong to them? Or is it that two kids come from a different relationship? They go.
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear you. Something happened there. I had like a glitch or something. What'd you say again?
I was asking about those two kids. Was that their kids, or was that kids from a different marriage? Or
From my understanding, they belong to them. Yeah, I haven't heard anything any different than that. So that's how I understand it. That would be interesting if they weren't. But yeah, from my understanding, they belong to the Tepes together.
And this guy that they got in custody now, that's an ex, right?
That was her ex-husband, yeah. Michael David McKee. And you'd think the guy would be a little bit more self-controlled, but obsession is real, folks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Being a vascular surgeon, you have to kind of hold yourself to a certain standard, but the obsession is real, and it's it is what it is.
I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking out loud, Dago. I'm just throwing accusations out there to see if anything will stick. If there was an obsession, why did it only take 5 years?
That's a good question. It is a good question.
So what dynamic is that? I mean, if she's running for her life, or whatever, she's just trying to get away from the guy. Gets remarried, have 2 kids. I don't know if anything about that screams obsession or being scared or or anything. That's just somebody that just moved on and
Here's the thing.
whatever.
Maybe she wasn't hiding from him for a while, and then figured, it's been long enough. I guess it's okay to start living my life. Maybe she did, and that's all it took. And he found her via social media or something and started stalking. You know what I mean?
Or sitting there and just going through social media and seeing her in a wedding dress and being
That
all
could
happy,
be.
and that set his ass off.
That could have triggered him right there. Yes, 100%. So they do have the warrant issued as of today, with a supporting affidavit for determination of the probable cause filed. In turn, that gives reason for warrant.
So this guy and the girl was divorced in 2017, so 9 years ago.
That's kind of my guess. I think that's right. I think so. Don't quote me. I'm still learning about.
Yeah, I'm asking questions too, Dago.
Yeah,
That's why
I'm
I'm
learning
asking.
about their past as of yet, but I think, like Mikey said earlier, 10 years is a while. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we're going on, I think, this couple's 5-year anniversary, if I would correct. So and then again, this is just, it is wild. It's weird. How did he gain entry to the home is what one of my issues is, without being detected per se. I mean, other than the fact that it was in the middle of the night, I still like to know how he gained entry to their home. Truly. Because they said, if you guys remember correctly, they said there didn't seem to be any forced entry. So that's weird to me. Did they let him in? And then it turned really dark or something,
Well,
and yeah, SRB has a huge point. Time means nothing for unresolved obsession, guys. Anybody that's ever been through a stalking situation, you have, or hasn't been through, you have no idea. Stalkers and people that have obsessed. I went through a little bit of a situation before, guys. It was insane. I mean, insane. Right. I dated somebody right between my first marriage and me and Brandy getting together, and she, holy shit, she was insane. And it was just, we went out 3 times and she wouldn't leave me alone. Literally into like 2 years into my relationship with Brandy, she was still stalking and like trying to follow me around. It was creepy because when you turn around and you see somebody that you know shouldn't be there, and there they are, it's crazy.
Good point.
It's very unsettling. She wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the creature. It was after the creature. It was between the creature and my wife now. And then she ended up going to prison, thank God, because she was babysitting somebody else's children, and to punish them, she put their hand in scalding hot water. And I was dating this person 3 times. I dated her, and you'd have never guessed it by this. She was so good at being fake. Okay. But the stalking obsessive thing was real, folks. It was crazy. We would go out to dinner, no lie. Brandy and I, back when we could do that, when we were first together, we'd go out to eat somewhere, and I'll be damned if I look over, guess who's sitting over there, just kind of staring at us, and I'm going,
yeah,
what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I put 2 restraining orders against her. There were things that would show up at my house that were gifts from her, crazy ass letters and cards. I miss you so much. I can't live without you, blah, blah, blah. Phone call in the middle of the night. We changed our phone numbers 4 times, and she still would get them. I don't know how. Threatened that one night she threatened if I didn't come over there that she was going to take her own life in front of her own children, knowing how I am, like, no, you can't do that. And I almost did instead. Thank God I didn't, because I think I would have been me. I sent the police over there and said, this is what she said. so on and so forth. And my understanding was when they did respond, they did it as a welfare check, that she did have a firearm in her possession. And I was like, good God Almighty, like, and I could never figure out. And it's one of her friends I ran into years later. I said, what was the deal with this? She was like, she just could never accept anybody ever leaving her. I said, leaving nothing. We weren't really together. We just went out a few times, you know? She said, yeah. She's still around somewhere. Thank God she moved out of the state, but craziness. People are obsessed, very obsessive in some aspects. I never really talked about that situation because it never came up, but this brings brings the thoughts back. So if anybody's ever been stalked or been in the midst of like an obsessive relationship, guys, it's no joke. It's very scary. Truly, it's very scary. And you got to be careful because you just never know. I was worried for Brandy that something bad would happen to her because this girl would not let this go. So, and it's not just men. It's not just men. Proof is proof. Women can be the same way. So be careful, everybody. But anyway, that was something that I truly, honest to God, I forgot about. Her name was Amanda. I forgot about that for a while. This kind of brought this back. So,
well, I could tell you another story. Me and a buddy of mine was out drinking one night, and we stopped at this bar, and I go inside in order to get some drinks, and I looked back and he wasn't there. So I got my beer, walked out, and he was talking to this guy and girl. Never met these people at all. This is the first time we've ever been at the bar, and I know my buddy. He's like that. So if anybody needs help, he's all about helping them.
mm-hmm.
So I asked him. I said, "What's going on, man?" Oh, I mean, we're gonna follow them home and make sure they get home all right. Well, long story short, when we got to the house, she comes to the door and allows us in, and come to find out that these people was not a couple at all. This was a brother and sister. And I'm sitting there, I'm sobered up. I'm about ready to take my buddy's keys. We about to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, he goes up. We're in the kitchen, and old boy gets up from the table. He goes over to the refrigerator and grabs something from the top of the refrigerator, and it was wrapped up in a napkin or a paper towel. He sits it on the table, and he had the ceiling fan on, and the little gust of wind just blew that little paper towel up just enough for me to see it was a gun.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy was sitting over there beside him. He's drunk, and I said, "Hey man," he walked away from the table. I said, "Hey man, look, I realize you might be a little drunk, but you need to sober up for at least about 2 seconds and look at that napkin and tell me what you see in that napkin." I said, "I think it's time for us to go."
Yeah, right.
It's time to go.
Right. I don't blame you 100%.
We got up from that table, and we was allowed to get back outside the house, get in the truck, and we hauled ass at home.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day when we woke up, I told him, I said, "Dude, don't you ever put me in that position again. You don't never do that to people, man. You don't even know. If they're sitting down in the parking lot, I don't care if they're throwing bones at each other."
Right.
Do not get involved.
No, agreed. SRB could have a good point. Allegedly, the wedding video they had a lot of views in the recent weeks prior to the murder. So he could have found him based on that right there. That's all it made. She may have felt it's been enough time. We can start posting things and living our lives. And then that's all it took. And there it was. That could have flipped him. Like I said, with my situation, when I started to get nervous was early on. We were at a bar together. And it was my stupidity because it was a bar that I frequented beforehand. And I went to get us drinks, came back, and guess who's standing there talking to my current wife? And they were just getting along fine. And I turned, she looked at me with this look on her face like, mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, hi, Joe. And then made the comment and said, so this is who you left me for? And my wife looked at me. She wasn't my wife at the time, but she looked at me and went, what? And I went, yeah, this is Brandy. This is Amanda. Amanda, this is Brandy. You want to talk about uncomfortable? And then she was like, have a good day or have a fun tonight, Brandy, or something like that. And she walked away. And I was like, oh, God, let's go now. And then I told her the whole story. She was a little pissed off at me. I said, I didn't know. I didn't think about that. And then it just became worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And all the shit went down. And then finally, I filed the restraining order for me and Brandy because I was worried more about her than myself. And then she got in trouble for that whole thing, and she ended up going to prison for, I think, 2 years. So that kind of gave us a break. And when she got out, I never saw her after that. And I heard she left the state. So thank Jesus, because God knows, people get this way, what can happen. So,
right.
Let me see here. Hold on. So this is explaining Mr. Politan himself, my old buddy Vinny, is telling the story here. This is probably going to be the last thing that we got here, but let's see. This is in regards to McKee as well. Got a little more info.
It's involving Ohio dentist Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique. They're
No. She didn't go to. No, you missed that part, Meg. She was watching somebody's children. I think it was her best friends, and they were little ones, like 2, 3, and 5, I think. Okay, so the 3-year-old was, I guess, did something wrong, from my understanding, and she took the 3-year-old little girl's hand and she stuck her hand under scalding hot water to punish her. Nobody said anything. Of course, the little girl's fingers got all, I think it was 1st-degree burns. Horrifying. It just makes me want to vomit thinking about it. And so when her friend came home, a little girl's hand, she kept holding her hand like this and doing that, and it bubbled up. And they were like, what the hell? What's going on? So they took her to the emergency room, and they told her, I guess the parents got looked into for child abuse and like so on and so forth. While the 5-year-old is who told on, said, no, mommy, they called her Mandy. Mandy Hurt. I can't think of the little girl's name now. That's how they found out. She was arrested, convicted, and spent 2 years in prison. And that's what she went to prison for, Meg. So yeah, it's pretty wild. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I dated this person. And I had children at the time, like small children. So and I never took my kids around anybody I dated. That's just never did it until I got with Brandy and we got to the point where we were very close and had been there together for a while. I would never take my kids around just anybody. Because I had custody of my kids. I got custody of my kids through the courts against the creature early on, and when we went through our divorce. And one of the main things I always did in my relationship, because I didn't trust anybody, because I went a little crazy after my divorce and dated around because I got married so young. She was just one of the people, and I would never have my kids around. I would only go out and have people around my apartment and stuff when my kids were with their mother. So, thank God I didn't, because God knows what could have happened to my children if I'd have brought them around her. You just don't know. And like I said, and me and Brandy didn't. It took us a while to get close like we did. We started off as friends. When we finally got real super close is when I introduced my kids to her, blah, blah, blah. She did the same with her kids, and then they ended up being friends to begin with. They were in the same schools and stuff. So, but yeah, like it scares you thinking about things that could have happened if you did things different. So, yeah, she definitely didn't go to prison over a restraining order, but we had to put one against her, 2 of them actually, because she just wouldn't let it go. And it's kind of a scary situation.
This has been an arrest. And it was someone people were talking about, but you don't want to defame people. You don't want to slander people, but this looked targeted, and it seems it was very targeted.
Well, the thing is once she was arrested, Busy, there was no access to her. I'm gonna see if I can pull the case up. I'll show you who she was in the case here of what happened when she got charged.
Prosecutors, law enforcement now believes that it is Monique Tepe's ex-husband, Michael David McKee, who was responsible for this horrific crime. The question I still have is, how did he get inside the house, right? How did he get inside? But this is the way the arrest went down and the investigation went down. They used the video, right? They released the images that they had, but they had more. We knew they had more, but they released enough in case someone recognized this person to make their investigation go quicker. But they were able to follow the suspect going one way towards the house, then video of him leaving, and then following him all the way to the car. Then they've got a license plate reader on the car. Then they track the license plate or tag, depending upon which part of the country you're in, to Illinois. They go to Illinois and they confirm who it is. And it is, in fact, the ex. And what's really bizarre about all this is the timing of it. She'd been married for 5 years. How bitter was this guy? How much of a loser is he? And you look at the mugshot, compare the mugshot to the wedding shot, right? So this is when he got married, Dr. and Mrs. McKee, right? We're looking at 10 years ago here. Is that what it is? I think it's 10 years ago, 2015. And now you look at what he looks like.
He definitely looks a hell of a lot more bitter now than he did then. That's for sure.
Unbelievable, right? And they don't have children together. It was like a 7-month marriage. It didn't last long. Like, where did this come from? Why at this point?
Knowing what I've heard about how she left him after only 7 months, it sounds like he may have been abusive and she just wanted to hell out and packed up and left one day and didn't tell him shit. So
I was just going to ask, Dago, do we know if he did any jail time?
McKee?
Yeah.
Beforehand, I don't know yet. I've been looking to see if I can find it.
Because that is a long time to hold a obsession like this.
Right. Well, guys, I'm dead serious. I've seen Lifetime movies that are just like this story. You know, if he can't let go, if she left him, and he could be one of these power trippers that like, no woman's going to leave me. And she just kind of left. There was no pre-planning. There was no, well, I shouldn't say that, but the story I heard was that her mother showed up and helped her to take what she could and get the hell out of Dodge and left him and never looked back. So he may not have been able to handle that, you know, masculinity or whatever the hell you want to call it, but his pride may have been hurt so bad that he couldn't let go. So,
Particular time, was it festering that bad? Like, how bad could you let be? You're a doctor. Move on. My goodness, she's got a family. She's got kids. Stop. What is wrong with you? You know, a lot of times we see exes, it's always like there's a battle, a fight over the kids. There's custody issues, still some resentment and bitterness. But this is 5 years later. She's moved on. Your marriage was months, a decade ago. Come on. And you couldn't allow her to be happy. You couldn't allow her to raise a family. You couldn't allow those children to grow up with a loving mother and a loving father in an amazing house. You just couldn't. This one gets me angry.
Yeah, I agree with Benny on this one. Yeah, and you can tell that there was, if he did it, okay, I'll say it this way. Hey, Paula, we love you. if McKee did this, you can tell that there was definitely some jealous like angst and anger. He shot Spencer 9 times, 9, and he shot Monique once. So that kind of tells you if it was that there was definite anger and jealousy, in my opinion. 9 times. You only need 1, maybe 2 shots to take somebody down, but 9, for Christ's sakes, that's a lot. Okay. 9 times and shot her once. So you can read that for what it is.
This one, God, there's no connection. There's no nexus. It's over. Your life with her is over. You had an opportunity. It didn't work out. For whatever reason. You need to move on. And apparently he couldn't let her be happy. Couldn't let her children.
I don't know if that's true or not, Richie. I never saw that.
This is so he was arrested, Winnebago County, Illinois, taken into custody. The way it should play out is that he'll make an appearance there, and then there's, getting him from one state to the other state. They'll get it done. It's not a big deal. There's interstate communication and cooperation. What is wrong? This is a great one. I love this. He's a literal blockhead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he does look like one of the Roblox figures. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of Frankenstein, to be honest with you.
Look at the difference. Look at the contrast. Like when you look at him and then you look at Spencer and you look at the way they even the wedding picture. Like, look at this. She doesn't look happy. She looks like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And you compare that to this. Oh man, what a difference. And what an absolute shame. So, this video was significant. This video was important because they're able to track him going one way. Remember, this is him walking to the house. They gave us that window of time, 2 to 5 a.m. So I don't know if 5 a.m. is when he's leaving. And what took 3 hours, by the way? Did he torture him for a while, or was he just trying to figure out what to do? I don't know. We'll find out more, obviously. People are asking what kind of doctor he is. I don't know. He's some sort of a doctor. I don't know.
He's a
I'll tell you what he is. He's a
vascular surgeon, folks, which is a very high-end version of a doctor. He obviously makes amazing money, lives, should be living well, should have the ability to move on. But like I said, mental health and obsession is a real thing, and it doesn't matter what your, options are or how much money you make or whatever. Without getting help for it, sometimes people cannot break free of it, and this is what happens. Sadly, it's very sad.
he's a former doctor at this point. He's not getting a job anywhere. That life is over. Yeah, and so if you're just joining us again, the big breaking news: it was someone close to Monique at one point. It was her ex-husband. But remember, this is not an ex. All right, we have kids, we have custody, we have issues, we have an ongoing reason to be in each other's lives. No, there was no reason. No reason. That was probably the problem for him, right? She's out of my life, but she's happy. She's been married for 5 years. She's got young children. She's got a husband. They're happy. Like, just let it be. Move on, man. Move on. Go on a dating app. And this is from Echo Gal. He's a vascular surgeon. I don't believe he is remarried. What was his motive? Yeah, I think I have 2 questions, right? I have 2 questions. Like, why now?
Just to give you guys a little heads up. So this standardized. According to a 2022 data from Medscape, the average primary care physician in the United States earns approximately $260,000 per year. At the same time, a specialist, okay, among specialists, surgeons fare even better at $368,000 per year. So surgeons earn an average. Plastic surgeons earn in an average of $576,000, and general surgeons make an annual salary of $402,000. But what about vascular surgeons? Where do they fall on the salary spectrum? So, and I know this probably doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, based on what they're putting in here, I mean, an experienced vascular surgeon, it's saying 560,100 experienced per year. I mean, entry level is 225,000. Jesus criminy. So the dude was not struggling in that aspect. Christ, he could have bought a wife for that much, you know, but again, the obsession's real. Yeah, it says, so the Doximity figures show that the average salary for a vascular surgeon was $534,508 in 2020. So it's probably gone up since then. So there's that, just to give you guys a little bit of a insight into what he was, you know, probably living. Yeah, like a heart surgeon. Agreed, Richie.
All these years later, their marriage very short. I think it was like 7 months. And done. She was out of there. She figured him out. Like,
yeah, right.
Well, maybe that tells us something. Right?
Medical school bills as well to pay on. So that's true too.
Right. If you're married to someone for such a short time period, something revealed itself, almost like in those made for TV movies when somebody's like, oh, great, great, great. And as soon as you get married, all of a sudden it's like, oh, what was that? Oh,
Lifetime movie.
That was problematic. And you get a read on the person like, no, this wasn't what I thought it was. We're done. But that was so long ago. This blockhead, right? Has carried this with him all these years. So what was the motive? You know, is it still just a bitter ex? I can't have you. Nobody can have you. But why now? Like they have a family. They have children. Why now? So that's the first question we have, I think. I think the motive, I think we can presume it's like a bitterness, right? A bitterness and a jealousy. But I think the question along with the motive, why now? Why so many years later is this now? Turning into what it turned into. And then the other question I have is, how did he get inside this house? Was he stalking?
That's the biggest question right there. How did he get inside the house when there's no forced entry? That's wild.
To get the code? Was there, and I'm wondering, was there any interaction?
We'll tell you guys, if they had one of those digital lock codes that we found in Idaho, I told you when I looked that up that there's codes you can get online to override these situations. If the guy's smart enough, he may have been able to do that. Just saying.
Action, you know, right? Was there any interaction at all? I mean, there'd be no reason for them to have communications, right? He's an ex, but they have no children in common. It was a quick marriage. There's no like alimony or anything like that going on. I don't think. Unless she was paying his alimony, but she wasn't working. You know, once the kids came.
Yeah, very possible. He'd been scoping them out for a while, Dago. He done tell you about multiple trips up there.
And it seems like, you know, did they have a code when they were married and he just guessed it? You know, that video walking down in the back, so he's going to come through the back. So he knows the layout. My guess is this wasn't like spur of the moment. He's planning and plotting. So maybe one of the ways that you get it is you hide across the street. You watch them punch the numbers in. Is that possible? I guess it is possible. I guess it is.
Getting their routine down.
Yeah, so everything that we thought about the couple, I mean, I think is true. Like they found each other and, you know, they were living their best lives and raising a beautiful family and a beautiful home. And you had you know, she found a husband who, you know, not only treated her right, but was like dynamic and full of personality and loved by his coworkers. Like that was very evident within moments of this whole thing happening, what they thought of him, and how he was living his life. And we've got Kimberly scanning the 55-page divorce documents. Fantastic. Now, I don't know about this statistic coming to us from Doreen. Surgeons are in the top 10 professions where psychopaths were. I don't. Where'd you get that? Is there an actual top 10 list somewhere? Is there? Let's see.
Well, he doesn't have any more information than the rest of us here at this point. So let me see. It's cold here. Temperature dropped.
Yeah. Could it be possible that he was scoping them out for a while?
Well, yeah. Very, 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 very possible, in my opinion.
I mean, he's making that kind of money, so he ain't worried about gas.
He could pay for a PI, you know, to do this, to do that, to go find her if it was that situation. So, hold on.
Could be sitting there across the street, just watching the house for a while, and get to know their patterns.
Mm-hmm.
When they get home, when they leave home.
Yep.
If they lock the doors, if they don't lock the doors.
Right.
I'm just throwing stuff out there. Yeah. If there's a back door or something like that, or a window was cracked open or left open, or
anything could have.
Anything. He can get in there by any means. I mean.
Good point. What do you have you been? So that's pretty much all I have so far, guys. I will again keep you guys updated. Have you guys seen the ICE agent shooting by chance? Have you seen any of that, Hemi, or anybody else in here?
No, I haven't been watching anything new. This is the first time I've watched a new case in I don't know how long.
It happened out of Minnesota. This is wild, you guys. It's getting pretty crazy too. Just saying, it's a wild situation. But like I said, thus far, as of right now, that's all I have on the Columbus dentist, Spencer Tepes, and his wife being killed. I figured I'd give you guys a little insight into that situation. The other situation of what's going on there in Minnesota, wild. Oh, I'll definitely send him to you, Krista. Situation. I'm going to throw this up again because this definitely pertains to this, guys. I don't know if you saw this, but...
Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers. This video is for 18 plus only.
So again, what I'm saying before we stop talking about that other situation, as of right now, they do have Michael David McKee in custody, who is Monique Tepes' ex-husband, and I'm going to be following that to see, you know, what goes on there, and what the updates are, and keep you guys updated on that for sure. This next situation is in my opinion, is very disturbing, very horrible situation, guys. But these things need to be seen by the world, in my opinion, to know that this shit goes on, and it's just insane to me. So forewarning, this is definitely triggering in some aspects, guys, and horrible. This is law enforcement, ICE agents. Hold on a minute.
They just shot at somebody whose car crashed. You're criminal! You're criminal!
This new video shared with CNN shows the moments before Renee Good is fatally shot in Minneapolis. Here, Good's SUV is partially blocking traffic on the street as drivers are honking and residents are blowing whistles. Several vehicles on the street appear to belong to federal agents. Lynette Riney Grandel, a resident who shot this video and started filming approximately 2 minutes before the shooting, lives nearby and told CNN she was trying to figure out why there were so many ICE vehicles on the street. About a minute before the shooting, agents can be seen getting out of some vehicles and walking toward Good's SUV. Moments later, gunshots are heard. Less than a minute after the shooting, the video captures ICE agent Jonathan Ross walking by.
What did the guys do?
That's wild.
Very disturbing, and I'm telling you right now, there is no justification. This is my opinion, you guys. My opinion, absolutely my opinion, and I'm not going to jump deep into this because I don't want to get involved in the political ties to this that have already started to fall out. But I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, this is murder. There's no justification to this whatsoever. I don't see it. I don't see it, and I will argue and die on that hill, folks. I'm telling you right now, there is no. One and I spoke on this. One is an NYPD police officer, and he said the same thing. There's just no justification to this whatsoever. This is murder, period. I'll show you this other version of this as well, guys. This is crazy to me. I'm sorry. Crazy. And it scares me. It scares me. This woman was the mother of a 6-year-old child who now, once again, does not have another child that's parentless because of whatever the fuck this idiot was doing and why. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I've been told was that this man was traumatized because he had been drugged by a vehicle once before. If this is true, why in the fuck was this guy wearing a badge and walking on the street carrying a weapon on duty? You tell me that. If you were traumatized, I get it. There's psychiatric help for that. You can get counseling. You can do this, do that. But you should not be carrying a weapon and having this kind of a situation in front of your face at this moment. If you are traumatized, you're not supposed to be working, in my opinion. But he was, and here we have this issue now. So I'm just saying, this bothers the hell out of me. So I'm going to watch this other part of this with you guys too.
Video. As I said, it is so crucial because it was filmed by the ICE agent involved, but also because in that.
And once again, if any of my mods can put their own version of a trigger warning in the chat, please do that. I want to make sure you guys understand this is scary and this is very triggering in some aspects.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers. This video is for 18 plus only.
It is providing an angle we have not seen before. And it does give a whole new perspective. It also, though, raises new questions. Kyung La is going to go through this slowly, bit by bit, out front with this special investigation to look at every piece of video, that one and all the others, to say, what is the story here? And of course, I warn you, when you put all of these together, you will have to see what happened again and again.
Out of the car.
For the first time, we are seeing the fatal Minneapolis shooting from the ICE officer's point of view, footage taken on his own.
Now you can see the woman. Okay, look. This shows every angle that we've not seen from the other day. Okay, this shows multiple different angles. And I think it's good to see this because if you look, you can see the driver of the vehicle. You see this person here, and you see her face right through the windshield. Just saying.
The fatal Minneapolis shooting from the ICE officer's point of view, footage taken on his own cell phone. It's a critical angle of many cameras on this street that captured Renee Good's fatal encounter with ICE agent Jonathan Ross. Using surveillance footage, bystander video, and Ross's own phone, CNN synced multiple perspectives of the shooting and mapped this incident in 3D space. Taken together, they show the fullest picture yet of what happened that day. A home surveillance camera captures the moment Renee Good pulls up in a maroon-colored Honda SUV 4 minutes before the shooting. 20 seconds after she arrives, her passenger and wife, Becca, wearing a white beanie, gets out of Good's car. Good then parks the SUV perpendicular in the road. Here's how Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described what Good did.
ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day.
Available video doesn't show any possible contact Good may have had with ICE before this confrontation. What this video does show is that for a few minutes, while she is perpendicular to the roadway, several vehicles drive by. Even large SUVs are able to drive around her as she moves back and forth on the street. And that includes this light-colored SUV. It slowly drives around Good's car from the rear and stops. Agent Jonathan Ross is recording video from his cell phone as he crosses in front of Good's car, recording as he sees her up close. She looks calm, and you can see both of her hands as she talks to the officer.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Renee Good's wife, Becca, who had been the passenger.
Now, here's my problem. The woman, if they were protesting what ICE is doing, I get it, okay? I get it. Now, if that's what you're doing, you have the right as an American citizen to do stuff like this, okay? 100%. There are different ways to de-escalate this kind of a situation. You don't go at somebody and shoot them dead in their face. I'm sorry, you just don't. Again, traumatized or not, this man should not have had a gun at his disposal if he was having these issues. So again, she did not look violent to me. She didn't look like she was like going at him. She was being, fairly probably sarcastic, but saying, "It's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you, blah, blah, blah." And then we move forward.
In the car approaches. Cell phone cameras on the street start recording as Ross walks around Good's car with Good's wife following.
I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Renee Good backs her car up as the agent walks around the front of the vehicle. At the same time, on the other side, 2 more agents approach. One tries to open the door as Good backs up. Good's vehicle starts moving. From Ross's cell phone video, you see Becca, the woman in the white beanie, trying to get into the car again. You also see Renee Good turning the steering wheel to the right.
Get out of the car.
She then accelerates. Slowing this down again and matching the exact time of these 2 angles. This angle appears to show the vehicle moving close to the agent. But in this angle, he does not appear to be in the path of the vehicle when he fired.
Sure don't.
God! What the?
Seconds later, Becca Good runs to her wife, followed by the agent who fired his weapon. He briefly looks into the driver's side of the car and then walks away.
Shame! Shame!
Now, what we cannot see in Ross's cell phone video is if the SUV made contact with the agent because the camera angle jerks up to the sky. But DHS still says it supports the agency's initial position, releasing this statement saying, quote, "The footage corroborates what DHS has stated all along, that this individual was impeding law enforcement and weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to kill or cause bodily harm to federal law enforcement. The officer..."
I'm calling bullshit. That is not at all what I was seeing. It looked like she was trying to get away from him. She turned her wheel to the right, turning her tires away from him. Okay, that's what I see. She turned her tires, her wheel, and her vehicle, the front of her vehicle literally would be moving away from him as he's standing here. If he walked and stepped in front of that vehicle, that's him, not her. She's pulling her vehicle away from him is what I see, you guys. I'm sorry.
Was in fear of his own life, the lives of his fellow officers, and acted in self-defense. The American people can watch this video with their own eyes and ears and judge for themselves. The shooting itself, Aaron, is also not visible. You do, though, hear 3 gunshots. Aaron.
All right, Kyung Law, thank you very much. That is incredible work. Just to see all that put together. Everyone's here with me. Joey, does that change anything? Obviously, this new video is a new perspective, but then just as Kyung has reconstructed frame by frame those crucial instances from all the perspectives we now have.
I think it's problematic for the officers with respect to justifying the force, and I'll explain why. The first thing is, let's talk about the policy. I do have the Department of Justice policy, which talks about the preservation of life, but it also talks about the obligation to get out of the path of the vehicle, right? Not to stand and shoot. It talks about getting out of the path of the vehicle, and it also talks about de-escalation. Why is that significant? I don't see much de-escalation there. That's important. I hear word to the effect of effing BITCH. That goes to me to state of mind. So if you're not
of the officer,
he's saying that. Right. I mean, so it's one thing to defend yourself. It's another thing to be angry and use animus with regard to employing force. The other thing that's troubling to me is that if you're not standing in front of the vehicle, but if it seems to be, I'm not saying it, it's what the video shows, you're off to the side of the vehicle, then how is it representing an imminent threat to death or physical injury? The other issue is you have to justify every projectile. If you're shooting a projectile and the car's not coming at you, what's the basis? And if you're shooting into the window when the vehicle's going away from you, that's further problematic as well. So it goes against the notion of immediate fear of death or serious injury. It goes against the notion of the proportionality of the force. And finally, Aaron, it goes against the issue of it being reasonable. So as I see this, it's a problem to me for the officer, even though the White House says there's nothing to see here. There is plenty to see from my perspective.
So much to see. I mean,
now I realize that everybody's going to have differing opinions. Even in here, guys, we could have separate opinions, and that's fine. Okay, I respect others' opinions and feelings on this as well. And people don't need to respect mine. I just know how I see it. I just feel like this is not. This could have been de-escalated in different ways, other than the severity of the violence that went down in this. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
John, because also one thing you see her do, well, there's a couple things that would show. First of all, her wife, Renee's wife, moves to get in the car, which would indicate they're leaving, which they were told to do, right? She moves to get into the car at that moment, stop filming. Okay, number one. Number two, then you see her on the officer, turn her wheel sharply away from him, and then the acceleration. Now, I know every single instant is going to matter in terms of what really happened, but there's no mistaking what she's doing with the wheel.
Only if you're looking at it. And we don't know whether in his tunnel vision he was focused on her or the front of that vehicle or its direction. But what we do know is the value of this video is...
What's up, Busy? I believe they were told, get out of the road. You need to leave the area. Wazowski says, standing in front of a car as a tactic. I understood that. Yeah, completely. I get that too. Trigger happy cops trying to find a reason to discharge their weapons. And a lot of them do that. You're right. And if that's the case, that they were trying to get her to leave, why was he trying to open her door? That's my question.
It's another angle.
Yep.
We came to conclusions, which are now questioned when we looked at the first video, because we got a second video. This would be a third video, which is instructive in a different way. What do we get out of this? We get three things. One, we get that it's not a high tension situation. She's smiling and saying, I'm not mad. And her friend is taunting them, but saying, here's our license plate. We're not wearing...
Right, we don't change our license plate. By the way, awareness of if you want to come and get us later, go ahead.
Right.
You have the license number.
So, I mean, tensions at that point are low. As he comes around the car, the officers who pull up in the pickup truck are saying, out of the car. They're grabbing one door handle, which is locked. She starts to accelerate. Her wife is on the other door handle, which is also locked. And if you look at that video, here it is. When we come around to the front of that car, this is a different video.
Yeah.
When we come around to the front of that car, which we'll do in a minute, you see that if you're the agent, his point of view is the car is now moving forward.
And here's my thing. I'm going to tell you real quick. If she would have turned her wheels towards him on purpose, trying to go at him with the car, I would have probably had a little bit of a different feeling. I still don't believe that this was the best way to handle this situation, but if she would have turned the opposite direction as if she was going to drive into him, different all the way, different completely in my mind. That's not what I saw, though, folks. I'm just saying. And like I said, everybody has different opinions, and I respect them. Like I said, I'm not going to go deep into this. I just wanted everybody to see this that may not have seen it. I don't want there to be any infighting with people in here, so on and so forth. We don't do that in this community, guys. We don't. It's okay to have differing opinions, and it's okay to feel different ways about this without going at each other's throats, okay? And it has to be able to be seen from both sides. Understand that. I do see if the man was doing his job, and like I said, if she turned and was threatening him in any form whatsoever, I see a different scenario breaking down. It's not what I saw, though. And I feel like the guy overreacted. And like they said, that he was already traumatized one time by being drugged by a car, which is very traumatizing to people. I get that. I didn't see that. And I'm saying, if that's the case, then maybe the man should have had some time off and not been doing what he was doing that day. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Unholsters his weapon, and you see the car moving towards him. Then you lose sight because the phone goes down as the gun comes up.
Yeah.
But you hear an impact, what sounds like an impact, which leans towards the officer's account and DHS's assertion that the vehicle made contact with him.
Right.
And you hear a groan. And simultaneous with that, not separate, you hear these three shots. At the end of the day, the three things they're going to have to consider is, are they in policy with the agency? Probably not. Were the tactics good? It would have been easier to leave your weapon holster and get out of the way than to end up in this confrontation. But was it legal? Did he feel threatened in the moment he pulled the trigger?
Gil, what do you see there?
Well, there's nothing that a city police officer would do in that situation that approximates what the ICE agent did.
Meaning in terms of the level of force.
They've all been trained to get out of the way of a car.
Yeah, not only the level of force, but all of the other tactics. I mean, there is one reason that the president, the vice president, and the secretary are so hyperbolic over this, because they want to get out from and away from this as fast as possible. This is their worst case scenario of a white woman, a mother, being shot by ICE agents, a U.S. citizen. And so that's their whole mission, is to get away from it. And they say, well, you know, the American people can look at this video and make their own decisions. Unfortunately for the administration, the American people have already looked at this video and they have made a determination about this. This is their Kent State moment.
So, Joey, I mean, to what Gil is saying, when you look at it, and I understand what you're saying, John, the kind of second by second, milliseconds are going to matter. And in the millisecond, you know, did he feel scared? Suddenly something goes from this level to
Right, Truth Seeker. We just watched that here too.
To this level. Okay. But I guess what you see when you look at this, and I don't know how you can't see it, Joey, is that it didn't have to end this way. Right? Yeah. He could have stepped away, as angry as he may have been in that moment, and she would have driven off because she had turned the wheel. They could have arrested her. They could do whatever they wanted to do later. They had the, as her wife said, you got our license number.
Yes. So look, you never want to give condemnation to police or law enforcement. At the same time, you want to act reasonably. And I think people have a right to believe that if they're ICE agents or anyone else, the first objective is this notes, is the preservation of life. And when you see a situation where you have an officer firing where they're
for the first.
So I'm going to show, for anybody that just jumped in, I'm going to show this where they broke the video down one more time.
We are seeing the fatal Minneapolis shooting from the ICE officer's point of view, footage taken on his own cell phone. It's a critical angle of many cameras on the street that captured Renee Good's fatal encounter with ICE agent Jonathan Ross. Using surveillance footage, bystander video, and Ross's own phone, CNN synced multiple perspectives of the shooting and mapped this incident in 3D space. Taken together, they show the fullest picture yet of what happened that day. A home surveillance camera captures the moment Renee Good pulls up in a maroon-colored Honda SUV 4 minutes before the shooting, 20 seconds after she arrived.
No, you're fine, Jules. I didn't see anything offensive. I don't think you were at all. I just wanted to put out there that we can all talk about this without attacking. You know what I'm saying? So I think you were fine. I didn't even notice anything you said.
Her passenger and wife, Becca, wearing a white beanie, gets out of Good's car. Good then parks the SUV perpendicular in the road. Here's how Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described what Good did.
ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day.
Available video doesn't show any possible contact Good may have had with ICE before this confrontation. What this video does show is that for a few minutes, while she is perpendicular to the roadway, several vehicles drive by. Even large SUVs are able to drive around her as she moves back and forth on the street. And that includes this light-colored SUV. It slowly drives around Good's car from the rear and stops. Agent Jonathan Ross is recording video from his cell phone as he crosses in front of Good's car, recording as he sees her up close. She looks calm, and you can see both of her hands as she talks to the officer.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Renee Good's wife, Becca, who had been the passenger in the car, approaches. Cell phone cameras on the street start recording as Ross walks around Good's car with Good's wife following.
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Renee Good backs her car up as the agent walks around the front of the vehicle. At the same time, on the other side, two more agents approach. One tries to open the door as Good backs up. Good's vehicle starts moving. From Ross's cell phone video, you see Becca, the woman in the white beanie, trying to get into the car again. You also see Renee Good turning the steering wheel to the right.
Get out of the car.
She then accelerates. Slowing this down again and matching the exact time of these two angles. This angle appears to show the vehicle moving close to the agent. But in this angle, he does not appear to be in the path of the vehicle when he fired. Seconds later, Becca Good runs to her wife, followed by the agent who fired his weapon. He briefly looks into the driver's side of the car and then walks away.
Shame!
Now, what we cannot see in Ross's cell phone video is if the...
Now, I do agree. They were taunting the officers. Absolutely not a good idea. Absolutely not something that we should do. Okay? But it still, in my opinion, could have been de-escalated in a completely different way. That's all I'm saying.
SUV made contact with the agent because the camera angle jerks up to the sky. But DHS still says it supports the agency's initial position.
Agent, his point of view is the car is now moving forward. He unholsters his weapon, and you see the car moving towards him. Then you lose sight because the phone goes down as the gun comes up.
Yeah.
But you hear an impact, what sounds like an impact, which leans towards the officer's account and DHS's assertion that the vehicle made contact with him.
Right.
And you hear a groan, and simultaneous with that, not separate, you hear these three shots. At the end of the day, the three things they're going to have to consider is, are they in policy with the agency? Probably not. Were the tactics good? It would have been easier to leave your weapon holster and get out of the way than to end up in this confrontation. But was it legal? Did he feel threatened in the moment he pulled the trigger?
And see, that's the problem. Jules you heard that too. As he's walking away, he made that effing bitch statement. Shame on you. Okay, you just ended her life. You did enough, you know.
Well, Gil, what do you see there?
Well, there's nothing that a city police officer would do in that situation that approximates what the ICE agent did.
Meaning in terms of the level of force.
They've all been trained to get out of the way of a car.
Yeah, not only the level of force, but all of the other tactics. I mean, there is one reason that the president, the vice president, and the secretary.
So there's that, guys. And not, again, my opinion is my own opinion. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. And you guys have your opinions as well. And if I have any differing opinions from mine, of course, you know, I respect that, you guys. I can see it both ways, to be honest with you. I just feel on one point, though, if the man was using, if they're using the reason why he fired his weapon and did what he did, I feel like you shouldn't have been on duty then. If you have that kind of trauma, you're going to run into situations, okay? I also have been told that, And I'm trying to find the info on this, guys. So give me a second. I've been looking for this all morning. One second. No, I can't truly find. I'll show you. Hold on a minute. And I can't find the proof to show this to you. All I know is what I've heard. I also heard that the ICE agents blocked the EMS or medics, first responders, from getting to the scene in a very, in a quick a way that they needed to. Is that true? I can't prove that to you at this point. At some point, I will do my best to do that. But if they did, why? Okay, that's what I'm saying. And this has turned into fucking rioting and all of this stuff. Okay, and it shouldn't. It just shouldn't be. Is all I'm saying. Give me a minute here. And now there's other things coming out. Other things. This other one just came out. Hold on. This came out an hour ago. Now, I don't know if this is because of what happened or if these things are going to start dropping left and right. I don't know. And if that statement is right about them blocking EMS, that there's something wrong here, folks. That's not okay. So this is another situation. It was released just like I said, just an hour ago. Hold on.
Many questions remain about yesterday's shooting outside of the Adventist Medical Center because there is no video so far of the gunshots themselves. But tonight, K2 has obtained new video that appears to show what those two people were doing minutes before they were shot by federal officers. It shows that same red pickup truck that police found nearly 3 miles away from that shooting scene. K2's Victor Park joins us live from the Hazelwood neighborhood at the shooting scene where a vigil was held tonight. Victor.
That's right. Hey, good evening there, Barry. And you can see there is still a makeshift memorial left behind on those benches. This is just steps away from where the shooting took place, as new video appears to show two people minutes before they got here. New video obtained by K2 appears to show the man and woman less than an hour before the shooting that since made national headlines. Just after 1:30 p.m. Thursday at a Gresham apartment complex, the video shows a man in a white hoodie getting out of the driver's seat of a red pickup truck. He walks towards the back, then opens the gate and walks upstairs to an apartment unit.
See, somebody sent me this and said in an email, said that they thought this might have something to do with it. I don't know that it does, you guys, so just bear with me.
A woman gets out of the passenger side and follows. The truck is parked for several minutes. A second clip shows the truck backing away. Less than an hour later, and nearly 9 miles away, the man and woman end up outside of the Adventist Health Clinic on Southeast Main Street, where at around 2:18 p.m., officers got the call about a shooting. Shortly after, the couple is found shot inside a red pickup truck.
And it's a very scary time.
A day later, dozens gather for a vigil just feet from where the shooting happened, still waiting for answers and not taking anything at face value. That includes Oregon State Senator Con Pham. We've learned from Portland police and even DHS, they say that these were members of a violent gang. Well, some people watching this may think, hey, you guys are standing up for violent criminals.
And again, I'm thinking people, yeah, it is in Portland, but they're trying, what the message said was that they believe that ICE agents are going crazy. Guys, I don't think that. I want you to understand, I don't think that. I don't think that's at all what's going on. And I don't want anybody else to think that either. Okay? I don't think we need to be in that realm of mindset in this situation is all I'm saying.
They can put these allegations at anyone with no evidence, and I think it's really important to know that no matter what, no one deserves to be shot with no trial or no due process. That's not how we deal with anybody.
Others joining the vigil included this father from Bhutan.
So I came as a refugee in this country, and I had that experience of trauma.
So therefore, again, there's things happening everywhere. I don't believe this has anything to do with that other shooting, you guys. So I wouldn't go there, is what I'm saying, in my opinion, okay? All right, let me show you this here. Now, this situation, there was a doctor that tried to get on scene to help Renee Good. This is the thing that bothers me, okay? I want you to watch this real quick. This is where I started to have I mean, I already feel like this is a bad situation, but I think this made it worse.
Oh my God! What the?
By now, millions have seen the video, a few horrifying seconds that have ignited outrage across America. It was early Wednesday morning, January 7th, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. An immigration and customs enforcement operation was underway near East 34th Street and Portland Avenue, an area already tense from ongoing raids and protests. That's when 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good was shot, fatally, by an ICE agent. Federal authorities say the officer acted in self-defense during what they describe as a life-threatening encounter. But city leaders, state officials, and Good supporters say what happened was an unjustified killing. And then came the video, captured by a bystander. The footage shows the aftermath of the shooting. A medical professional, off camera, identifies themselves as a physician and repeatedly offers to help Renee Good, who witnesses say was shot in the face. Again and again, the medic pleads to provide aid. The response from an ICE agent is chilling. "I don't care." The agent orders the doctor to back away, insisting ICE has its own medics, even as no medical help appears on the scene. A woman's voice rises in desperation, but she's told to relax. Instead, she explodes in grief and fury.
Can I go check a pulse?
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
Hey, listen, we understand. We got EMS coming, and I get it. Just give it.
I'm a physician. I don't care.
Just a second. We have medics on scene. We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor. How do you show up to work every day? How the do you do this every day? You're killing my neighbors. You're stealing my neighbors. What the?
The video has left viewers shaken. Online, people call it the worst of the worst. One user said, and I'm
going to tell you right now, based on experience, if they would have allowed that doctor to attend to her, there's a very, very good likelihood she may have survived, you guys. I'm sorry, but I'm disgusted by this. To no end, I'm disgusted by this. He wasn't a danger. He wasn't going to hurt anybody. He wasn't going to cause any more problems. He was going to help the woman. He could have stopped the bleeding. He could have done different things. At being a doctor, they know what to do, okay? And it could have prevented her death. And they didn't allow for that. I'm sickened, beyond sickened. And it's very good to have these discussions, okay? We just have to try to stay as calm as we can about certain things and realize that hopefully there will be repercussions for the situation.
"I don't care" becomes official policy.
Now, I will tell you, there's a statement on screen right now, okay? And this is very true, but I don't know what the laws are when it comes to federal agencies. Not allowing a doctor in should be a prosecutable offense. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I got my licenses, okay, I was made to understand that if we don't offer aid in a situation that we see happening, we can be prosecuted if we have certain licensing and so on and so forth to some aspect, okay? Not prosecuted, but sued. I'm sorry. That can happen. Okay. If you don't stop at a situation and you are that person and you're in the vicinity, it's kind of like it's your job to do that in some aspect. Them not allowing him, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that they're federal agents or not, but them not allowing him, this is insane to me.
Humanity is the casualty. Another added, not allowing a doctor in should be a prosecutable offense. But Renee Nicole Good was more than a viral video. She was a mother to a 6-year-old child, a wife, a poet, writer, and guitar player. Her mother, Donna Ganger, says Renee had taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate, Ganger said. She was an amazing human being. Friends and neighbors describe her as pure sunshine, pure love. Why was she there? Details remain unclear. The Minneapolis City Council says Renee was out caring for her neighbors. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar described her as a legal observer, someone present to document law enforcement activity. Her mother insists she wasn't part of any protest and says her daughter was likely terrified. On Wednesday night, in freezing temperatures, nearly 1,000 people gathered at a vigil chanting for good. City and state leaders offered condolences, calling her a cherished community member whose life was violently cut short. As investigations continue, one thing is undeniable. Renee Nicole Good's death has become a flashpoint, exposing a nation divided, grieving, and demanding answers.
So it really, really does bother me. They didn't allow that doctor to render aid in that aspect, guys. I'll just say that much. And I'm sure we'll see and hear more from this. I understand that the agents were under duress. My understanding is they were involved in one of the biggest immigration raids ever. Okay. I get that too. But there has to be a better way, you guys. That's all I'm saying. There has to be a better way. Me personally, and again, this is just me. I don't see this as a self-defense thing. I see this as an overreaction and abuse of power. This is my opinion. That's all I'm saying, you guys. And again, I won't be upset if people don't agree with me. And I have nothing but respect for everybody else's feelings, guys. Understand that, please. So, and again, I'm showing you guys this because these things need to be known. In our country, we need to know that these things are happening, period. Just a little too much for me. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Hemme?
Well, I've been under suspicions and calling out law enforcement throughout our coverage of the Idaho 4.
And not all. You're right. You're right, but not all. Let's remind everybody.
Yeah,
Not all law enforcement is bad law enforcement.
There's a lot of red flags in that case, too. But we also seen other instances outside of the Idaho 4 in other cases where law enforcement is not properly trained in some instances. And abuse of power is one of them. There's several cases in the past that you can look up and look into. Officers using their badge to get special privileges that they think they can be able to get away with. So there's that too. So I don't know. We need to look into our training program for officers and law enforcement and try to get them their hiring process of getting the right people to take the job. But some officers do use their badges as a get out of jail free card. They can be above the badge. So there's that too. I mean, it's crazy. I can look at our senior here in 1-1. I mean, there's corruption all over this country, and we just need to be aware of it, I guess. So that's all I have. It is what it is.
I agree with you, sir.
It is what
Do
it
I
is.
see this? Listen, do I see this as a corruption situation? No. I see this as a very bad mistake. Okay. Very bad. Again, if he was having a flashback because of previous trauma, in my opinion, you shouldn't have been there doing what you're doing because things can happen. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're sitting. I mean, from what I'm understanding is she's sitting in there, and it's not just her. Her girlfriend too was gaslighting the cops. Saying some smart ass remarks to them, even though she's parked in a awkward way, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't understand that part, but I mean, you got vehicles trying to get past, and they're probably ticked off because she's parked in a odd position in the middle of the road. She gets approached. Probably was told to leave. But what possessed the officer to pull out his gun when the girl was just sitting in her car?
Why were they
She
trying to?
wasn't posing no threat.
Why were they trying to open the door to take her out of the car when they first had stated you need to leave? So her friend, her girlfriend or fiance or whatever she was, goes to get in the car, and then the other guy comes out and runs up and goes to grab her door handle and says, "Get out of the car! Get out of the fucking car!" And she's turning away to get away. That's what I'm confused about. Why this happened this way is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was saying the guy already had his pistol out.
Right. That's how I saw it too.
So whenever she pulled off, she must have ignored a command. They must have, ordered her to get out of the car. She just smart-assly drove the car off.
Yeah.
And in an attempt to stop her, he popped off a few rounds in her.
Right. And don't get me wrong. I don't think these women should have been taunting these guys at all. This is not, we don't need to be doing that. They're already under a lot of stress dealing with what they're doing. Okay. Whether people agree with what they're doing or not, it's their job. This is why they do what they do. They're not here. They're not trying to do something people don't like. They're doing their job. That's all there is to it. So I don't believe that they should have been taunting them by any means. That I promise you. Okay. But at the same time, I just feel truly and clearly like there was a better way to de-escalate this situation that didn't have to end this way. Is all I'm saying, you guys. And they could have had local law enforcement helping them. There's other things that could have been done, in my opinion, and I'm just bothered by that. And then when I saw that there was a doctor on scene that could have done something, there's my problem. You denied the man access to a victim that was obviously, she bled to death, is what I read. Okay. Could have possibly been saved, guys. There's my issue. And he walks away from the vehicle after he walks over, checks on her, and throws his hand up and says, "Somebody call 911. Fucking bitch." What? No. You did that, dude. You did that. Okay. You misread the situation or mishandled this, whatever you want to call this. Okay, you guys. And I'm not here to cause political strain on anybody or cause political conversations or arguments. I'm just telling you as a human being what I saw. I don't think that ICE agents do, Fizzy. I think some of them have it, but I don't think they do get it as part of ICE. You know what I mean? And Senor's got a good point too. There's no proof he was a doctor. He claimed to be a physician. My understanding, at least here, you're not allowed to do that unless you are. He claimed to be a physician, wanted to help, so on and so forth. So that's another good point. We don't know. It could be. You know what I mean? He could have been lying. It is what it is. We don't know. I'm just telling you those were my thoughts on it. So, and like Senior said earlier, it could have been a guy that was just trigger happy. It could have been somebody under duress because of previous experiences. I don't know. And we're not going to go much further into it than that, you guys. I just wanted it to be seen just in case nobody had saw it. And you take that and make your own decisions on it. Have your own theories and thoughts. You don't have to care one bit what I say about it, you guys, because I'm just me. I'm nobody of importance. So,
like I said, I just want to know what possessed him to pull out his gun. in the first place. I mean, you can't sit there and tell me because she's gaslighting you and she's just being a smartass.
You should have more self-control. I agree.
You should have a little bit more self-control than that. She was not even pointing a gun at you.
I agree.
Or being threatening at anyway. You should just be laughing that ass off. Like, what's your problem? Why are you?
No, I agree with you. I do.
Crooked in the middle of the road. I mean, I see it both ways.
And listen, folks. I've worked with many, and I have quite a few friends that are very. I have 3 that are very close friends that are law enforcement officers. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think you know. Being a law enforcement officer is not an easy thing to do. Period. I would never want to do it. I used to want to be one, just like my dad and my uncle and my grandfather. These days, there's no way in hell you could give me $1 million a year and I wouldn't do that shit. No, I just won't do it. People have no respect for law enforcement anymore, and there's so much of law enforcement that does not follow their own rules. So no, there's a lot of very good officers out there, folks. Very good officers, and they deserve the respect that they've earned from what they've done and what they do. And there's a big problem. People don't want to give that. And that's not fair. Okay. Because you've seen 3 or 4 other police officers over here that have done some things that they shouldn't be doing or made some statements they shouldn't be doing, abusing the power, whatever you want to call it. That's great. That doesn't mean that this one over here is going to be the same person. You don't treat them all the same. You don't disrespect them just because 3 guys treated you a certain type of way. This one's not going to do it. That's not fair. Okay. And people need to stop doing that. We need law enforcement, you guys. I'm telling you right now, I'm never, ever going to be okay with, defund the police. Fuck that. Okay? No way. Do you realize what this country would be like if we had no police forces? I'm telling you. It would be absolute and utter chaos. I never want to see that situation happen. So again, I'm not saying, out of 5 out of 10, you may have some bad cops, but those other 5 are absolutely there to protect and serve. And they love their jobs. They're not there for a paycheck, and they're there to make your life better. I truly believe that. So
there's safety protocols. I mean, I might not have been there, but I'm not a real dumbass when I'm looking at shit, right? I can't go into the man's head and why he pulled his gun out. I just know it's a safety precaution when you in a place like that and you got civilians there.
Right. And
you don't pull out your damn gun. You pull out a stun gun.
Unless there is a risk of danger, there's no reason to pull your gun. I agree with that. Okay. Other than to prove who you are. Maybe. I don't know how ICE works, guys. I've not really followed much of their stuff other than things we've watched. But an anonymous is saying so they can yell at her and she can't say anything. You can't tell someone to leave while trying. No, you're right. I agree with that 100%, Mystic. I do. Like I said, there's 2 sides to this, and we got to try to find somewhere comfortable in the middle to be okay with this or not okay with this. Honest to God is how we see it, guys.
I mean...
And that's, like Senor just said, he sure went from hands-on cell phone to hands-on weapon quick. There's no weapon, though. That's what I don't understand, Senor. Like, you being a retired police officer, let me ask you how you would have reacted, if you don't mind, to that situation personally. If you have your hands on a phone and then you just very quickly drop the phone and go right for your gun without there being a threat assessment in your face to see the reason to do that. Why is what I don't understand. That's my big issue with this. Okay. I wish one was here because I'd ask. One feels the same way I do. He absolutely said it was absolute and utter abuse of power in his opinion.
She was not threatening that officer in no kind of way other than gaslighting him by smart ass remarks. Right. It's just
yes.
Is it any damn different if you was to go to a daggone school or someplace and a kid was just to be all smart ass to you and you just a pissed off motherfucker that day and just decided, hey, you know what? I'm just making a bad example out of somebody. Boom.
Yeah.
Cold blood killing murder right there.
That's how I see it. That's how I see it. I do. I see it as a murder situation. I don't see it as self-defense at all.
That's the reason why it was a safety protocol. I'm not sure when, but all officers are required to start wearing stun guns.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did not want them to use their live weapons just because of this reason right here.
Yeah.
They much rather you use a stun gun to de-escalate a situation than to take a risk of shooting somebody and killing them.
Well, if this stuff keeps going, see, this is the problem. Trump has already made certain statements, and if it gets to be where the rioting and all that stuff gets a little too much, you know what he's going to do. He's already made the statement that he will instill martial law and take things over the way they need to, he thinks. And I don't want to see that happen, you guys. I don't. We're free. We're human beings, and we have rights. And I think we need to just do. See, this is why I typically will not get into something like this, but this bothers me. Like, it bothers me a lot. And I just wanted to show it, give an opinion. And again, I don't expect people to always agree with me. And I do respect you guys that don't agree with me. I respect all of you that have a completely opposing opinion than I do, because I can see why you would see it the other way too. I just don't. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. I've been on scenes where I've seen stuff like this go down. I've been on officer involved shootings as medical protocol, things like that, guys. I have opinions, you know. I have ideals of things that could have been done differently that would not have resulted in somebody being shot and killed. So it's just an opinion I have, you know. And like I said, if Renee Good would have turned her wheel to the left and accelerated, I'd be telling you something different right now. I think I would be in a different frame of mind right now if I would have saw that. So I think that this gentleman needs to at least have some form of accountability for this, and something needs to happen to some aspect. That's just my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just asking the question. I mean, I'm not trying to be respectful to everybody in chat and you, Dago, but I too have my opinions as well. And
again,
it's what okay prevents you to pull out your gun?
Right. And again, it's okay for us to have differing opinions. Guys, if we always agreed on everything, come on. That's about the most boring situation I've ever seen in my life. So
I mean, was she in the vehicle? Did she have a gun pointed at you? Is that the reason? Was you feeling threatened or
well, and again, if he's got, like I said, if he has some kind of like PTSD from being drugged by a car, I do get that, okay? Then I just feel like you probably shouldn't have been active that day, or active until you're comfortable with your situation, is all I'm saying.
Or even putting yourself in that position in the first damn place, like he was standing right there in front of the damn car.
Well, see that angle when they finally show the breakdown that we watched, the first video where they show he didn't get hit by her car, and it avoided her. She avoided him completely. He did step back. Hold on. And so on and so forth. So this is, again, just my opinion, guys. Again, it doesn't mean I disagree, nor do I hate you because you think differently of me. And we got to stop doing that kind of stuff. I don't. I can see how you could see that and maybe stand by that person. I feel like there could have been a different situation happen that could have been a little bit less violent, is all I'm saying.
Right. And then from what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a woman that was gaslighting them.
Right.
For unknown reason, why she parked the way she did, who knows? That's up for a debate. But anyway, just never know what people do.
Yeah.
Did I hear a protest is why she parked the way she did?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was for sure. I'm sure that'll come out later, but I was told, and it was just hearsay, that they were protesting them being there to some aspect in that neighborhood because that's their neighborhood. That's all. I don't know. like I said, everybody has the right to their opinions and feelings. You're all amazing people, no matter which way you think on this. We need to understand that this is, especially in here, this is a community, and we should have differing opinions in different aspects. Is all I mean.
Yeah.
But as far as today goes, with this stuff here, I think we're done with this and the Columbus dentist and his wife until I get some more updates, of course. There has been the ex-husband to Monique Tepes has been arrested. His name again is Michael David McKee, and charged with 2 counts of murder. So we'll see. My big question with that one is still, how did he get in the house? Went to no forced entry. That's wild to me. Was he let in for a conversation? Did he break in, sneak in, whatever you want to call it? But that's going to do it for today here, guys. But like I told you guys, I'm doing back-to-back shows. So I'm going to leave, probably refill my coffee cup, and come right back. Absolutely, CZ. Of course, you guys know me by now. That's not me. I'm not a drama person. I don't like drama. And I try to look at things from both angles. That's, my thing. I covered that Sluther 75 before you jumped in here. I was doing that. I'll be back here in about 15 minutes, guys. If that's not, just so you know, because I want to go back into some more of the Idaho stuff we were covering yesterday. I didn't get to cover. Thank you, CZ. I appreciate you seeing it that way. That means a lot to me. It really does. And that's what I'm trying to say. We all bleed the same color. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what thought process you have. We all bleed the same color. Now, there is a thing for morality that I have a thing for in my own mind, but it's how you take things too, in my opinion, is all I'm saying. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate you very much. Yes, sir. Good point. Access difficult situations while preserving life. That is it. As a law enforcement official, that is what their job is to do. So yeah, guys, I'll be back here shortly. And I hope to see you guys here for that as well. I appreciate you guys being respectful in here, as I have no doubt this community always does. Very much appreciated. That means a lot, guys. And that's why we're all here together in this community. And that's why I do believe that we have the very best community on YouTube. Always will, along with the moderators. Oh wait, do I have one in here still? Yeah, Moonlight's still in here. Well, thank you, Moonlight, for sticking around. I appreciate you very much. Like I said, guys, I'll be back. Oh, there's Fizzy too. Miss Fizzy, thank you, Fizzy. Appreciate you, mods, being here and taking time out of your busy days. Thank you, Mittens. I try my best. I do try my best. Thank you, Jules. So hippie. I called you hippie, Hemi. Hemi and Ro. Ro's here too. I didn't see Ro. Hemi, thank you for joining me, bud. And hopefully I'll see you here relatively soon. And we'll jump back on in here and go over some other stuff. And then, of course, I'll see you guys tonight over at...
Dago, I just want to say something real quick, and then you can end it. Somebody says something about because I'm not a cop. It don't matter. At the end of the day, my opinion is my own. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong in my book.
But that's how everybody makes it right.
And I make my decision making is based on what I'm seeing.
What the
so
and now my friends
condoning a cop
one down so fast. They even accuse me.
Walk up on somebody who's not being threatening in any kind of way other than being a smart ass with a weapon drawn at her, and you're looking at that. Well, he was threatening, or wherever the case may have been. That's your take, and I respect your take. But my take was he shouldn't have had his weapon drawn in the first place.
Right.
And I already know about the safety protocol that they should have all been taking was using a stun gun. Just in case if something was to happen and a round was to pop off, she'll be stunned, but she gets to live. That's the only thing.
That's a good
Other
point.
than that, I respect your opinion, but what I am and what I'm not, it don't really matter in my book.
That's a good point, sir. Good point.
That's all I have on that, Diego. We'll see you on Idaho.
Yes, sir. Thanks again for joining me, everybody in chat, guys. If I don't happen to see you, if you decide you don't like me anymore or whatever, and you don't come back, do know that I do appreciate and respect each and every one of you so very much. I appreciate the support you guys give our channel here and our community as well. I appreciate and adore each and every one of you for being part of this community. You guys are absolutely amazing people, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. And please don't change a thing. You guys are the beautiful people. And please don't forget, most importantly, guys, know your own worth. That's so very important to me. God bless, and I will see you guys hopefully very soon. Bye, everybody.
Later.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture